Good day, everyone!
Hello!
And welcome back to the corner of Remnant!
Yes, indeed.
Yay! And I don't have something over your Skype window this time. Yay!
Yeah, no issues. A bit late.
Yeah,
Quarter
we're a little
of an
late,
hour
sorry.
late.
Cute.
Accept it, Larissa.
I think I turned it off.
Accept
The
it.
setup was actually quite quick. Just when we started the setup was quite
Sorry,
late.
that was super loud because I had to find the one sound effect I didn't turn off. Thanks, guys. Love
Good
you.
thing I have the stream muted and I have Skype on, so I missed it. So that's fine with me.
Oh my goodness. You had to find the one that I hadn't turned off. Thanks, Cinder.
Seriously, guys, the amount of SFX she has to manually go through is insane.
Oh my god, I had to manually turn them all off, and that one I haven't got in the right category either. That's why I missed it. There you go.
And I assume it's a thing where it's like you only do it for Corner of Remnant, and then for every other stream you just have them all on.
Yep, I had them all on. It's just the corner of Remnant. I used to turn them off, all of them off, when we did our D&D streams, but that was all of them, not just part of them. You can turn all of them off.
Yeah, I assume there'll be a manual turn them all off.
But yeah,
learning more and more about Twitch every day.
yeah, yes. And, I thought, because we haven't, I was going to mention it before we started, but I forgot. We haven't really introduced ourselves in the corner of Remnant, so I thought...
Not this season, no, so...
No, we haven't. We've been a little slack with that. So, I'm your host, Larissa, the Nerds of Oz.
Yes.
Woo! And,
I am Emperial Dawn, artist.
You're a fan artist, okay? You
Fan
are
artist, yeah.
a fan artist.
I like fan artist, that's a good way to put it. And we're just two Australian nerds, no pun intended on the Nerds of Oz thing, that love RWBY and just love discussing it with each other, and more importantly, sharing that discussion with the rest of you.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of places to talk about RWBY on the internet, but we like to provide a good place. Not to say the others aren't, but generally you can always come here.
Yeah,
get a good experience, I guess.
Because we were watching, we both came on Discover RWBY after Volume 3 had finished, and as Volume 4 was about to start, I said to Don, I said, like, would you, no, it was after Volume 4, that's right. It was after Volume 4, and I said, would you like to do a podcast with Volume 5? And he's like, okay! Not knowing what you're getting into.
Because I think, we met, around, during Volume 4, I think it was. Through Arnold.
Yeah, it probably was, actually.
Because I followed him, you followed him, and I noticed, who the hell is this person called Nerds of Oz commenting on all of his Twitter posts? I was like, that's an interesting username, it's Australian, and I guess that is what made me start...
Hey, fellow Aussie RWBY fan.
Yeah, I don't know how we actually got to this point. I knew that I was actually really interested in asking you to start up this kind of thing.
I was thinking about it during Volume 4.
You got around to asking me first, and I was like, well, that's perfect, because I was planning to ask you the same thing, but I just didn't want to, because I didn't have a presence on YouTube at that point, I didn't have a presence on Twitch, I was just a Twitter/DeviantArt poster, so I didn't really have much presence in that kind of landscape of live streaming or podcasting, so when you came to me to ask about it, I was like, oh my god, that's great minds think alike kind of thing, and it really worked out, and then we've been doing this since Volume 5, we went through Volume 5 flawlessly except for the finale. I think we did every other episode. We might have missed 1 week and then did a double feature.
Yes, Cinder Dawn is in Australia.
Although, to be fair, a lot of people, including my acting/drama teacher in school, always thought I was American. So apparently I have a very American dialect, but I grew up watching a lot of television and media and stuff. So to me, it's like each sentence and each word probably comes from a different dialect or different accent. So I'm a what's the term? I'm a melting pot of ethnicity.
As is most Australians, I think.
We are a very multicultural country. That is our point.
Yes. Hey, Nightwalker, welcome. I was just going to chat up on my phone.
Yeah, but thank you all, guys. Thank you everyone for coming out here. We know that these days the RWBY podcast livestream community is a big beast, and there's a lot of content out there. So we appreciate anyone that either watches us live here, watches the VODs. That'll be out tomorrow.
YouTube,
Yeah, seriously, it's all just really appreciated, and we have a huge episode to discuss here, and also a reminder that We will not be discussing episode 4 or the RWBY Rewind preview. I think I have seen RWBY Rewind this week. I don't know if you have.
I keep forgetting to watch it. I just don't have time. I need to download them because I can download things on my phone now through the Rooster Teeth. So I need to download them and watch them at work on my lunch break.
Yeah. But we'll be discussing all things RWBY apart basically everything except for the preview for episode 4. As Larissa, of course, is a reactor, so she wants to give reactions for that.
Yeah.
But since we're going to discussing RWBY Rewind, obviously episode 3, this is obviously a first stream. Obviously, if you're not a first member, obviously you can still watch us, but we will be discussing things that are not public yet. They're only for first members.
That's right. So we're going to be discussing Chapter 3, which at the moment is only out for first members. However, if you're watching on this on YouTube, it will be out for the public at that time. So yeah. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you can always watch this on YouTube afterwards.
Yes, and we managed to... I think it was just funny how we managed to work it out where at the time that this does get posted to YouTube, it will be free for everyone.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
So
several hours afterwards.
That's always how it works out quite tightly.
Yeah.
What do we call Emperial Dawn's fans? I actually don't have a name for
Smash.
fans.
Nerds and Dawns?
I don't know.
I don't know. We had to come up with something.
I think when I had my old usernames, one of my old usernames, I just had like bros were my fans because I tied in my old username, which I'm not going to mention here because it's cringy as hell. But I think the current one, I just would say just Imperials, like from Skyrim or something. That's I guess the closest thing to say.
Imperials. Dawn worships.
That's actually very demonic. If we're still connecting to Skyrim, the Dawn worshippers in Skyrim, well, they're not called Dawn worshippers, but that's pretty close. That's not a good thing. But speaking of worshippers, my God, this episode
was like, I think I was just like throughout the whole watching it, I was just like, what's going on? Like, this is just blowing my mind. I think I'm just sitting there most of the time, just my mouth open the whole time. So it'd probably be a very boring reaction to watch.
This was probably the first episode I've ever seen, in terms since we've done the live streams, that I'm glad we don't do them immediately.
Yeah,
because
you need to sit and think about it and watch it a few times.
Because if any of you guys were following me on Twitter or anything like that, you'd know that I didn't actually have a high opinion on this episode to begin with. And I count that a lot to one. I'd watched up to that point 2 hours of Extra Life. Still had 22 hours of it to watch. Plus, Jeremy was then going to go and stream Spyro for 20 hours after that. So my opinions on the episode 1, I watched it once, went back to Extra Life.
Yeah.
Thought about it till I fell asleep, woke up, didn't think about it because I was still watching Extra Life. Didn't even draw on the Sunday, even though I uploaded on the Monday. I just uploaded Ozma, which I got from the trailer, not from the episode. So I kind of snuck episode in that way. Although that's cheating. That drawing blew the fuck up, and the speed art. So
yeah, clearly
it didn't matter that it didn't come from the episode. People still like to see Ozma, so that worked out somehow.
It's a really cool design. We will talk about that.
Yeah, and so it wasn't until Wednesday that my schedule life got back on track because Extra Life messed everything up so significantly.
Yep.
So my opinion on that episode was really not negative. But I think at the time, what I wanted was the status quo.
Yeah.
I didn't want game-changing level stuff. I wasn't expecting... Like, obviously, we were expecting it after we got episode 2. But we discussed it back last stream. You know, we were expecting, some backstory, some Salem stuff, and then the girls again.
Yes.
To get all Salem stuff, and not even this stuff, the past stuff, I think at the end of the day, this episode didn't sit with me well. Until I saw, and this isn't a spoiler, until I saw the episode 4 preview. And the only reason why was because that re-established things. It's like, okay, well, we're back in current times.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like...
I got a good idea what it was and what we're going to be seeing, but of course I haven't watched it.
It's just because that, this episode wasn't RWBY.
Yeah, it was all the
past
and...
magic. It was... not the world of Remnant. It was just something so different, and it's like, I don't like this because it's not it's not the 6 volumes we've been established to.
It was very different, but I understand why they did because it's 26 minutes long. You couldn't cram anything else in that.
Of course, and if you watch the rewind, the episode was going to be a lot longer at one point.
Oh really?
There was a lot more.
Oh god.
And yeah, so once I've now seen new footage that's back in the current status quo. It's like I can just digest that episode better because, like, again, I don't like RWBY where everyone can use magic. I don't like RWBY where people can go and talk to gods and people can get healed just like that.
Yeah.
And this whole episode still does leave a lingering bad taste in terms of, like, you know, what the end goal of the show now is.
Yeah.
Is the end goal of the show now to get the relics and bring the gods back? Because I don't like either result of that.
Yeah.
I don't like the gods being back in the world, and I don't like the humanity being wiped out. So
I see that, but it could be that's what they leading us to believe is the end goal, but it may not be.
Like, I'm hoping that maybe after Oz's experience and, like, you know, the idea of, like, Salem and Oz being gods, that maybe Oz doesn't even want to bring the gods back.
Yeah.
You know. And again, I'm hoping that either they just decide not to bring the gods back and they just don't address that.
Yeah.
Or two, that they bring the gods back and then Salem destroys them, or, you know, or that the gods get killed or something to that degree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now again, I've had these thoughts on RWBY before, and most of the times, once I see where they're going, I was like, okay, now that I've seen what they're doing, it's fine. If the gods come back to the world and that's the end of the series and we don't get anything after that, then you know what? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect us. Because if the show ends, the gods are back in the world, and it's like, okay, well, that's fine. If we don't see the aftermath of that, then that's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of thing. I don't know. And again, I don't know what it is. I just don't... We'll get more into it once we discuss the episode.
We've got a lot to unpack. I'm just sorry, just realised I hadn't done one thing on Twitter, so I was just doing that quickly as you're talking. But I was listening.
But in terms of the production, the storytelling, the episode itself, I did love it.
Yeah.
It's just the implications at the time that have now been rectified, and the implications of the end goal of the series that have me a little on edge, I guess.
Well,
but the episode itself was absolutely amazing.
I said it before my reaction, which you guys will see when you get to watching that. But I said before my reaction, I said, I've got the feeling this episode is going to change everything. It's going to change how we look at RWBY and what I thought, like, just the whole everything. And it did. It really did. It was just, it answered so many questions and gave us a lot more it gave us a lot more questions as well as answering them, and it changed the view on everything. Now, like we're seeing now, the speech at the beginning of Volume 1, Chapter 1 was alluding a lot to everything. The maps with you can actually see the dragon forms of the gods in it. Everything. In the map. Everything. It just changes a view on everything. So
and that's why it had me so concerned at first. It's like, wow, this almost doesn't feel like RWBY anymore. But again, like, that was just at the time gut reaction. Again, once you know, I was not tired anymore. Once I'd seen real RWBY again, it just settled all my worries about it. And again, I've watched the episode 100 times since then, and I do love what it is. I will say that the emotional impact still hasn't hit me of what the episode implied. Like, it still didn't, like everyone's saying, oh, this was so sad, so heartbreaking, and I'm sad that I didn't get that reaction from it.
I did.
It didn't. And that's the thing. I'm saying, this is not a critic on anyone else. This is just on me. That because of the situation in which I watched the episode, it didn't, like, you know, it wasn't like, oh my god, a heartbreaking love story. It wasn't a heartbreaking fairy tale to me. It was. I personally didn't get that emotional reaction out of it. And I'm like, damn, I wish I did, because everyone else did, which is good.
So, I guess getting into the episode, so the first part we had was the girl in the tower, so the storytale that Emperial alluded to back in Volume 3, based, of course, on Rapunzel, all about Salem being locked in the tower, and Osborne, rescued her, and they all lived happily ever after.
We'll break his legs.
That was good time with the host. Thanks, Tom. Lived happily ever. We'll break his legs.
It's actually really funny because... Rapunzel, or more accurately, Tangled, is, to me personally, is one of my favourite stories, films of all time. I love it. Absolutely adore that film, that idea, that concept. So when I first watched RWBY, you know, I obviously wasn't told going. And again, I didn't watch the trailers when I first watched RWBY. I just watched the show. So I was like, so when I heard a whisper that everyone in this show is based on a fairy tale, I'm like, oh cool, we have Little Red Riding Hood. I don't know if I guessed Snow White. I think someone did tell me Snow White. I don't think I could have guessed that myself.
Without watching the trailer, probably would be a bit hard to
without watching the trailer.
I
think someone mentioned Beauty and the Beast, I
Mm.
think. I don't know if I got that. And I always assumed Rapunzel. I never, for the longest time, assumed Goldilocks.
Yeah, Will
I was
Yang's
like,
all about her hair and it's long.
Yang is Rapunzel. That just made so much sense. So
Yeah.
to finally see that story now come into the story,
Yes.
it's like, oh, that's really, really cool. And
Mm.
again, I never would have guessed Salem as Rapunzel of
Yeah.
all character inspirations, because you're obviously the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, she is.
but
I
she's
think
also-
it's more the
she's also Rapunzel.
inspiration. Like the original Salem was Rapunzel, but now she's evolved into the Wicked Witch, which is very similar to what I was telling you about with Wicked and everything, and that story. Yeah. So it's very similar.
It also, not that I don't mind promoting other people, but obviously this ties in, if any of you guys seen of Kaito Dan's theory on Ozma.
Yeah.
And he was like that Oscar will be the ideal Ozma, which is still the concepts of that video can still apply to Oscar going forward.
Yep.
But again, I would have guessed that Ozpin's original name was Odin. That's what I would have guessed. That his original form would have been Odin.
Yeah.
But to give him Ozma instead is very interesting, because Ozma, I believe, comes after the Oz stuff, correct? Or is Ozma before?
I'm not sure exactly, actually.
Yeah. But I would, my point is that I would have thought that he would have been Odin, not Ozma. So that's really interesting that the origin, is Ozma. And, it's a simple, story of just, again, like that's the whole point. Like the whole point of the show is built on fairy tale. So it's not the, like the whole story of Salem to begin with, isn't the most incredible piece of story writing ever. But it's meant to just connect that the whole world is based on fairy tale. So the simplest origin story of our story is just a simple fairy tale.
Yeah.
In a sense, And it's also cool the idea that, the idea of the girl in the tower has transcended humanity, almost.
Yes.
In a sense. And I'm very excited and I'm very interested to talk on that subject, about humanity and obviously the implications and humanity, going forward. But after, Ozma saves them and they have this, they mentioned later in the episode, there's a connection there that's stronger than magic.
Yeah.
Love.
Love.
Between Salem and Ozma, and then...
Zom, if you don't want to be spoiled, it's best not to watch. I appreciate you being here, though. Otherwise you're going to be spoiled.
Seriously, guys, like, we post them to YouTube.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I post them to YouTube.
Yeah, I know Zom's, he doesn't able to make my evening stream, so it's like, morning stream, but spoilers. Sorry. Okay, if you don't mind being spoiled, because your idea that you have, we'll be talking about that very soon. Anyways, yes.
So then Ozma, unfortunately, just falls to sickness. The happily ever after could sometimes get interrupted.
Yeah.
By the simple things. And you know what? I'm glad. I was just saying before I didn't get emotional. I'm getting emotional now talking about it, which is good.
It's so sad.
It's finally hitting me, which is good. You guys, I don't do reaction videos, but you guys get to see my reactions to it, because I'm actually getting a little sad about it. It's I can't help but feel like there's another story I'm thinking of where I can't think of it where, like, it's a love story, but then someone just gets sick and you can't, and there's something else. There's another story or movie I've watched where that's a big plot. I can't remember what it is though.
No, I'm not sure either.
I'll have to maybe look into it and mention it next stream.
Yeah.
Love ended by sickness. I swear that's something I've heard before. But anyway.
Yeah. So Salem lost the love of her life, and she was desperate to get him back, and she had knew about
and it's also it was her only love. It's probably her only interaction.
Yeah, it was the first human she had contact with besides her father before he locked her away.
Yeah, and that also parallels to Weiss a lot.
Yeah, that's true. It does. Yep.
Likely didn't have that many interactions going up apart from her family or direct family or servants, etc. So, I have seen a lot of people compare the Salem Ozpin story to a possible Weiss Jean story. Going forward, and if that's the direction they go, I'm down for it. Again, I've never been a hater of White Knight. I don't think it's the most likely thing in the world, but at the same time, again, I don't mind any ship they choose to go with as long as they do it well, really.
The White Rose shippers are like getting their axes out now.
Well, that's the thing though, like, I don't mind it because I feel like I've seen most White Rose shippers understand that this is not likely, we're just going to enjoy it for what it is, which is what most ships should be.
Yeah.
Then the Bumblebee shippers are a bit more like, fuck you! No offense, but I mean, guys, you can't even deny that's not the case. But again, White Rose will admit that, okay, it's not likely, but we're going to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
I wish all ships were like that. At least that's the current state from what I've seen in White Rose.
Yes.
But I'm interested to see, what they do with White Knight. But of course, with Jean now away, they might not be touching on that anytime soon.
Maybe not soon, no. But yes, so she then sought out the gods.
Gods, yeah. Which is one of the scariest things, that you can just go and interact with the gods. And that's one of the things that, like, well, I hope they don't come back, because that's just going to cause some issues in that regard.
Yeah.
But again, that's the whole point, that we need to keep reminding ourselves. This is not the world we know. This is something, the world has since been wiped out and reborn since this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not the world, and like, and that's the thing that I was failing to kind of grasp after this episode, was that this is not the same world. It is physically, but it's just not the same world anymore. But yeah, still with the staff in hand, or the scepter, I guess would probably be a better term. Staff, scepter. Goes there and finds what I call golden ironwood.
Golden ironwood.
Did anyone else get a huge ironwood vibe from just the voice acting?
No, I
just... Did you hear that in the God of Light, how ironwoody sounded? How did
I think about it?
Go back and watch the episode, and then imagine ironwood. It's like, holy crap, that sounds a lot like... But to be fair, we haven't heard ironwood in a long time, so maybe I could...
Was it the same voice actor?
No.
I did look at the voice actors at the end of the episode, but I did recognise the ones who were the gods.
I believe it was Chase Mick something.
I'd have to look it up.
I'll look it up. I'm looking it up.
Oh, you look it up? Okay, you got it.
I'll look it up. Yeah.
Okay.
You talk.
I really liked the shrine of the God of Light, with all the golden flowers, the blue pond, the mountains in the background, the really big tree, which also reminded the tree of knowledge. And
look like a giant like mangrove tree.
Yeah, and it had like little things hanging off it.
Which makes sense, that's growing out of the water. Why it would be a mangrove like tree.
Pushing a bit there, and then which part? Because they just were just speculating.
I'm not saying it's ironwood.
Oh, the ironwood bit.
Chase McCaskill. 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 Okay.
The ironwood thing.
I'm not saying it's ironwood. I'm just saying it sounded like ironwood to me. That's all. But I do like the simple designs of the gods.
Yes.
Like much like Jin, you wanted to make something that looks human, but something that doesn't look human but looks recognizable.
Yeah, it looks otherworldly, but
and again, like a god wouldn't have need for eyes, wouldn't have need for sight, wouldn't have need for speech, and that's, I think, the vibe they're going for, is a god can do these things without the physical appendages to do so.
Yeah.
I haven't seen many people draw the connection between them and the Faunus. Of course we know that they're not connected. No. But obviously these gods resemble Faunuses more than they do humans.
Yeah, they had like horns and whatnot.
Horns. Yeah. So I'm glad that this is one of the things where I'm glad the community hasn't blown up about that, because I don't think there's necessarily a connection there. It was just like a style. It was just like a visual choice.
We might be starting a thing that's going to blow up about it. Well, I liked how the God of Light, he spoke about not wanting to disrupt the balance of life and death.
Yeah.
And Salem, she's like, so you won't help me. It was all about her wants, as much as she wanted Ozma to come back and everything. It was just her wants, not thinking about everything like the big picture. Yeah. Of course, she was in grief, and you're in grief, you don't think about like the consequences. You just want what you've lost. And so he dismissed her, saying, "No, I'm not going to help you."
Yeah, let him rest. Let him
rest.
It's the value of life and death.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if that attitude stems from her upbringing. Like we obviously still don't even know if she was just a prisoner or if she was like Weiss and she got everything she wanted growing up, or whatever. Yeah. I assume she was probably more like just a prisoner kind of situation. So, I mean, it's interesting that she had the guts to defy the gods. But that's what I mean. Like these are gods, but to me they seem more line of like if you look at Marvel, you look at Thor. He's a god compared to a human, but realistically he's just a race that is powerful.
Yeah.
And although these gods are very, very powerful. Yeah, and we get into it more later. They're fallible. They're not these all-knowing beings. They're just powerful beings.
Yeah, which Salem figures out too.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what you mentioned later. Like, they're fallible. They can be manipulated. They can possibly be defeated, which I hope is the case. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that to God, and I'm saying that about these gods. I'm just like, I'm talking about this.
Then we had the god of darkness, which looked very familiar landscape with the purple crystals and the black pools and everything. And the god of darkness was super creepy. I don't like how he walked over backwards with his head hanging down. As you'll see my reaction, is like, oh no!
I keep asking for a Wendigo Grim, and this was pretty freaking close to a Wendigo Grim.
It was creepy.
It was pretty close to a Wendigo, so it might be the closest we get to a Wendigo. It was very nice. The God of Darkness gave me so many different vibes from so many different characters. Obviously, later in the episode, it gave me a very, not a original or reignited Spyro vibe, but it gave me a very Legend of Spyro vibe.
Yeah.
If anyone's played the newer trilogy of Spyro, it gave me a very Legend of Spyro vibe. His voice gave me a very Ultron vibe.
Yeah.
Just the way it echoed, and just his presence gave me very Ultron from Marvel. And I liked that the gods, like we said, like they're fallible, they're just powerful beings. Again, he wasn't evil, he wasn't good. It was just an older brother who understood responsibilities.
Yeah.
And who liked to create, and a reckless younger brother who liked to destroy.
Yes.
Neither of them were neither of them were all powerful, neither of them were all knowing. You know,
they just had different views on things.
They just had different views, and he had domain over darkness, he had over light. But again, that's not evil, that's not good. The two need to exist, yin yang, etc., etc.
Yep. Balances out.
So I like that, and again, he was manipulated. It's like, hey, I pray to you. I don't like the God of Light. Bring back Ozma, because I know that only you can resurrect him. And it was as simple as
played
that.
to him thinking, because everyone will always go to the God of Light. So then he's got this person coming to him saying, "Oh, I believe in you. I know you've got the power to do this." It's like, "Oh, well, thank you." Oh. Yeah. Stuff your older brother.
And it also brings into question to if these fountains still exist. Like, we know, obviously, that the Grimscape still is out there, presumably on his dragon continent.
Yes.
I was running at one time, assuming that Remnant was maybe not one landmass, but at one point a very different landmass.
Yeah, well.
And then it broke apart, and then, so I'm curious if maybe the fountain and the Dark Fountain were once closer together, and then they've been spread apart. Like, maybe they're on the equivalent dragon heads. Or if they're still there, like, I think it's very possible that the Fountain of Light was destroyed.
Yeah.
But possibly the Pools of Grim, obviously we know still exist to some manner, likely on the Dragon Continent.
Yes, it'd be interesting if they are on the where we see the God of Light's dragon form, Wyvern form. If
it'd be in the northeast of Mistral. I think.
If the shrine is there still. Yeah, it'd probably be in ruins, but it would be cool if they actually end up stumbling across it. Actually, that would be cool.
Well, we're going past it, so who knows?
Possibility.
Because assuming where the train crash is, we could actually be a little bit close to it, considering where our heroes currently are. If it's on the Dragon Head. Yeah,
because we don't know exactly where the train crashed along its path to Argus, so it is possible. Yeah, it would be cool actually. Now that we're seeing this, if they do stumble across it.
Or like maybe Ozprince is like, maybe since you've seen the story, we should go to the fountain.
Yeah.
See it.
I'm not sure if he would know where it is, because he never went there himself.
That's true, and that's a big thing someone mentioned to me here, is that we've got to remember that although our heroes learned, like, Ozpin himself learned a lot here.
Yeah, well, because, if you hadn't already asked him about it.
Salem didn't tell him the whole story. Salem never told him that she destroyed the world, that she caused the gods. Like, Ozpin learns this for the first time. That, because all he knew was what Salem told her, which probably wasn't very much.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We don't know if he asked Jin how Salem to be how she was and all of that. So
yeah, we assume that he asked 3 questions and maybe a 4th more recently.
Yeah.
That's all we know.
He already been to Jin before. Yeah, he had. Though we don't know if he actually asked her that question.
Yeah, we don't.
No.
Yeah.
And the gods.
Of course, the gods and Ozma resurrected, and then the God of Light comes here, and again, I just love their interactions so much. Like, you may be the God of creation, but that doesn't mean that you are bound to it. You're the only one who can do it.
Yes.
This is not creation. Like, don't lecture me again, like brothers. It's just a really cool dynamic.
It was.
And then obviously Ozma gets wiped away again. And I've seen, although I think it's 100% coincidental, I did see the connection between Ozma's first destruction and then Emperial's being incinerated.
Yeah.
Bit of a similar effect there.
Yeah, very similar.
Also,
sort of
I don't
thing,
think the two are related in any
No,
way, but it's
no.
just like, maybe that was a cool nod to that. And then of course, and again, like the God of Darkness kind of had a point. You come into my domain and show such disrespect, and just brings him back, and then we get the cool. And if you've seen the RWBY episode, which is focuses on like the god's design and their, and like just what went into like the transformations and stuff. But I love the scene especially of the God of Darkness transforming, and just again just lines were delivered really well, and they were edited so well, and it's like the second someone comes to bask at my feet, you come here to lay your judgment. Again, like to the idea of, he probably feels like no one comes to praise to him because everyone prays to the God of Light. It's like, and the one time someone comes to pray to me, you want to come here and take it from me, like, fuck you. And obviously we have the Western Dragon, then we have the Eastern Dragon, with the gods of light and dark, and then it's a simple matter of, hey, you've been manipulated. Don't trust her. She's the one who wants...
war there in a way too. They could have fought there, and it could have been quite devastating.
Yeah. But it was just a simple matter. And then again, like the brother's like, okay, I understand. I've made a mistake. And then Purple Dragon Breath. Again, that's very Spyro.
Yes.
The Legend of Spyro, at least. And just wipes out Ozma yet again in ashes this time. So I mean, and again, just Salem. Seeing her love die, resurrect
again.
Yeah.
That would be so terrible, so cruel.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And again, I'm like I said just before, I'm liking that I'm now getting these emotional impacts now that I didn't get when I watched it. So talking about it, because it really, really was like having that person die in front of her and just over and over again. And Salem, what magic she has, tries to make a stand, but. Yeah.
I like how the God of Light swallowed her, and then she was falling, and she fell into the water, and then she was on top of the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, that was really cool.
Yeah. Nice, like, just assertion of like what the gods are capable of, and just like their mold of reality that they possess. And then it's the most simple matter of, again, probably one of my favorite things, like, you're immortal, you cannot die, you cannot be of your beloved, and as long as this world turns, you shall walk its face.
Yeah. It's so sad.
I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, like, yeah.
She can never be with.
Well, you cannot be with your beloved because you tried to destroy the balance of nature.
Yeah.
You cannot be with him, and then the gods just go on their merry way, and
they just left her.
Yeah, one thing that constantly gets implied in the episode that I don't know is necessarily the case is just that going into the fountain would give you immortality. I can't imagine that's the case. I can't imagine that's actually how it worked.
No. I
imagine that being in the fountain and then a blessing by the gods can give you immortality.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone who swims in the fountain gets given immortality. Because the only reason... Because again, like, Salem would have died in the Grim Pits if not for her immortality. That's the only reason why she survived that.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think that would gift anyone immortality. But I guess it could, but...
Yeah, not sure.
I don't know. But I hope if that is the case, then the fountain is destroyed because I don't want everyone getting immortality.
Yeah. Theoden has a good point too. That the question was, what is Osmond hiding? I guess like it was. Yeah. Well, perhaps he did know the origin of how. Maybe he did.
Maybe he did know all this. That's true. And it's one of those things where, God, most times genies are like, give you the smallest hand of the question you asked. She gave everything.
Everything.
She even gave questions to previous questions she answered. I thought that should definitely be no. The one thing I cannot do is give you answers that will give you more answers to questions I've previously been asked. So the idea that Osmond asked the wrong question about how to destroy Salem, I feel like almost contradicts the idea that all the knowledge that they were given from the simple, like what Osmond hiding from us, they get all this. But yet, he doesn't get the answer because he asks the wrong word.
Yeah.
Like how to destroy Salem.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see how that ties in to that. But that was jumping ahead way. But just to connect the two different ideas of how to answer a question in a different way and what you can give and what you can't give, etc., etc. So she gets given immortality, and then I think at that point, then she's just, she's just trying to kill herself despite the gods. She wants to prove that, hey, give me immortality. Well, screw you, I'll still kill myself.
It was no more about bringing Ozma back. It sort of turned from that to just getting her revenge from the gods for what they cursed her with.
Yeah. But again, that's when she realized that she almost turned the gods against each other.
Yeah.
Which now, think about it, maybe that's how they deal with the gods if they bring them back. They just get the gods to destroy each other. That could be a good way to do it. Because I always thought that Salem would want to bring them back to destroy them.
Yeah.
Even though really we saw later that's kind of fruitless. But she clearly is driven by desire, is Salem. So I don't think she really cares.
It's also driven by desire for destruction. So I always thought maybe the god of darkness or something and just destroy everything. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure. But yeah, and then she just goes to all the kingdoms and stuff, and just tries to kind of manipulate everyone. Just kind of like, hey, I'm immortal. I stole this power from the gods. You all can do the same. We just have to destroy them. If we destroy them, then we can be the gods of this world.
Yes.
Because we have magic, we can do all this, and then
about that.
and it just shows again like how fallible, the hearts of men are easily swayed. It said that 100 times in this episode. And also later relates to one thing I missed again. It's like the idea that, that's also referring to Ozma himself. Salem swayed Ozma. Yep. Later in the episode.
Yep.
So.
Yes.
I don't think Ozma has as much love for Salem as Salem does for Ozma. Especially after how easily Ozma just was, Salem just manipulated Ozma later in the episode.
Yeah, especially, well, I think at first he did. Like, originally...
No, of course, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And when he was reborn, he still had that love for her, but realises, of course, how far she'd gone. But we'll get into that. So, yes.
Yeah, fountain time.
Yeah. It was interesting too. I liked at the start. I didn't really notice it too much until I rewatched the episode. But when Salem first went to the God Light, Jin's voice said this will also be the what was the exact wording?
Humanity's downfall.
Yeah, humanity's downfall, and it was. So when they returned,
this was where humanity will face its ruin.
Face its ruin. That's right. That sounds better. Yeah. So when she did return with all the warriors, human warriors, and everything, and they fought the gods and good old darknesses. They used the power, blessed them against me, and he just destroys them. Like, I originally thought maybe he was just getting rid of magic when I first watched it, so I was a bit confused, and then oh, they're all dead. Shit.
Yeah, when I first watched it, I think I was on Salem's boat. I didn't think there was the whole world.
Yeah.
I think I was basically on the same line. But yeah, I wasn't too sure what was happening, like what the purple was doing.
No, I didn't realize.
But then you go back and you see they're all in ashes. And again, now this is maybe spoilers for Spyro. That is 100% Legend. That's like the end of Legend of Spyro.
Oh, really?
It's like the world being destroyed by literally a purple beam of energy. Like that's
actually, I do remember that from when I played the games originally. Yeah,
because there's the evil purple dragon that isn't Spyro. Basically, does the same thing. In a sense, and it's just like such nostalgia, like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's so funny that it's all like Spyro, and this came out before Spyro, the remaster came out.
Well, there's influences from Spyro here, there's influences from not Civil War, Infinity War.
Yes.
There's a lot of inspirations here, and this whole episode really makes me wonder, obviously, RWBY's planned out from the beginning. This episode clearly is an example of that. That a lot of foreshadowing, etc., which we'll get into. I think once we finish the episode, we'll get into all the foreshadowing, etc. But just how, I'm wondering if this was the time that they had planned to, because you got to imagine, obviously the show has planned stuff, and then Miles and Kerry write out all the in between stuff.
Yes, yeah.
It's like the three of them, Miles, Kerry, and Monty plan out the whole series, and then it's just up to Miles and Kerry to kind of write out the episode, season volume by volume. I'm curious if something like this, if this was around the time they'd always planned to give this information, or if because of the pressure from the community they gave us the information now.
No, I think they probably planned it around this time.
Yeah. I think it feels weird to me because it's so early in the season. We got this much so early, and it's like, wow, why was this not,
They could have almost given it to last time if they activated Jim back in Volume 5, but...
I guess so. But this is, again, remember, this is a lot for what is just the start of the second half of the... RWBY could possibly have what we've got now times 2 already. So, it could be at the halfway point. So to get all this at the halfway point makes me feel like maybe this isn't the halfway point, maybe they've rushed some things along because of community pressure and stuff. But I don't know. But
Well, it
again,
depends what else they got planned for the volume. We still don't know yet what else
that's the
is
thing. I
planned.
have no idea at this point what the hell they have planned for the rest of this one. This is insane.
Nope.
But that's what I mean. Like, this was so, like you know, world level information. But I'm like, I just want to go see what Cinder's doing in Mistral.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's why this episode again rubbed me the wrong way at first. Cause like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is not what I care about.
Yeah, I wanted to see.
I care about the little stories that is in the world we know, not all this world level stuff. This is again, like I said, RWBY to me. But again, I've since changed since then. But it was just that little idea at first.
Yeah.
But yeah, the world's wiped out, and you know, and we got that confirmation that you are all that's left of humanity, and now at this point in time, you are doomed to walk this place alone for the rest of your
truly alone
eternity. You are now,
I'm sounding completely
and I love,
alone.
and I love the continuity between the first episode and also episode 4 of chapter 8, volume 4, chapter 8, where it's like, this is a beautiful experiment. We are leaving this world. It is now a remnant of what it once was.
Yes. Yeah.
All really cool choices of words, and like, I think I've said this every time the God of Darkness has spoken. Yeah. But it is true, the writing has been so good, and it's like still demanding things of your creator.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get the one of the most, I think, overshadowed moments of this episode.
Yes.
As we get the moon being destroyed, and I'm glad that it was overshadowed because it was never a huge deal to me personally.
To me, just something we always wondered. It's like, what is up with the moon?
Yeah,
the moon is broken.
Like,
how did it happen?
Maybe that's just how the world is. Maybe a meteorite hit it 1,000 years ago, and like I never thought it'd be anything. Like, I didn't think Salem destroyed the moon. I guess she did in a sense.
It was her actions that caused humanity to be wiped.
I never thought that it was something that Salem destroyed the moon.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. It was just the god departing the world, and of course the god of creation would leave it peacefully. The god of destruction would leave it destructively.
Yeah.
And that was him leaving the world. Was him just destroying the world. And of course, the God of Light didn't want the world to be destroyed in terms of humanity or in terms of the physical destruction of the world, but, the God of Darkness was destroy humanity and then destroy the moon, which would, in his mind, I assume, would destroy the planet itself.
Yeah.
But of course, that didn't end up happening. It just basically caused a cataclysmic event that reshaped the world into the world of Remnant that we know now. Much like the Great Meteor did to our world. In a sense, because I believe in the current understanding of our world, the world was once I think it was Pangea or something. It was one massive continent.
Yep.
And then, assumingly, the meteorite that destroyed the dinosaurs shaped the world that we know today. So something similar to that degree happened here, I think, if that's not too outlandish to assume.
Well, it's very similar, actually. I hadn't really thought of that. But yeah, it is. Because, we had, the original... some people, of course, don't believe this, but I do. I believe, with evolution, that we had dinosaurs and we had all these other sort of creatures on our planet, and then something cataclysmic happened. They think it was a meteor, but don't know for sure. But that's the main theory. It was a meteor hit the planet and killed everything. Yeah. Maybe it was multiple, who knows. But it is very similar in this, where the moon was partially destroyed and the meteors impacted the remnant and probably destroyed a lot of things. Not everything, but a lot of stuff. And probably changed the actual face of the planet.
Yeah, and they also assumed destroyed the fountain of one thing. Current assumptions.
Because when you look at where Mr. is, the map, it is very sort of jutted and it's got a big hole in the centre too.
Well, yeah, maybe even, that's a good point. Maybe Lake Motsu was the result of what fell from the moon.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, or even, and then maybe ties into Vacuo, maybe that was another major spot, and that's why there's so much dust there.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a second, but I did want to mention, as you mentioned before, again, I'm going to say stuff here that's not necessarily your beliefs. I understand that. I'm just saying that these are my beliefs. You guys are here for our opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. I was liking your opinions.
Much like one of the beliefs in our world, and this is my personal stance on it, that obviously there was creationism with in a biblical sense. You have humanity created by God, and they existed for years until cataclysmic event, the flood, wiped out everything except for people on the boat and all, obviously, animals.
Yep.
And then my personal take on this, and I'm relating this to RWBY, I am, is that humans then died out because they couldn't survive after that. And then, so humanity's gone. Much like in RWBY, we have humanity created by the gods, and then gods wipe them out.
Yep.
And then then we have the real world, what we know in history, assumingly, is, you have the idea of the dinosaurs, and you have the idea of the animals that existed without humanity.
Yep.
Cataclysmic event happens, dinosaurs are wiped out, all that's left is sea creatures.
Yep.
Sea creatures then rise up out of the water, turn into mammals then turn into humans.
Yeah, evolution. Yep.
Yeah, so I believe that creationism and evolution both happened.
Mm-hmm.
The gods. I'm getting confused because I'm talking about real world. God created humans got wiped out, and then evolution brought them back.
Yep.
And that was one of the things they mentioned on RWBY Rewind,
Oh.
where this episode was going to be a lot longer, because that was one of the things they're going to go into, was how humanity came back after they were wiped out.
Yep,
They cut
that
it for
makes
time.
sense. Yeah.
And, basically they came back through either evolution or dust or what have you. And again, that ties in episode 1, where we all thought ever since Volume 4 that the idea of humanity created by dust was retconned.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know that not really. Humanity existed by the gods, destroyed, and then assuming dust is how they came back. So whether you believe they came back from dust or they just evolved from what have you, it ties into the idea of...
born from dust. Was
born from dust.
Was what was said back in the intro to Volume 1. Yeah. So, it could have been... Though Sally also could have been referring to that the planet was destroyed and then mankind just, appeared, became... How exactly it happened, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully find out some more about that.
Yeah.
Sometime.
My thought, again, is just, again, they just, through evolution's sake, they returned.
Mm-hmm.
And this time they also returned as faunus as well.
Yeah, that's it, yep.
Because, obviously they evolved from animals, as our world did. But in this case, and again, humans at one point, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, humans at one point, if you believe evolution, would have had tails, like monkeys.
Yeah, that's why we got, a tailbone. Yeah.
And, again, so humans evolved from monkeys, but then faunus might have evolved just from other animals.
Yeah, that's true. Or they just retained their animal features,
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And because of dust, and dust, is the remnant of magic in the world, that's just, it just left them with those same traits, or faunus could just be evolution that hasn't gotten to humanity yet. Yeah. Maybe faunus would eventually evolve into humans and lose their animal traits. But,
possibly, or vice versa, yeah.
And then we have now the idea that people believe that dust is basically the equivalent to oil in our world. Mm-hmm. That dust is just the remnants of humanity.
Yeah.
Like oil is remnants of humanity, and oil is basically natural life, like flesh, blood, whatever the hell, greenery, whatever.
Yeah.
That's just compressed for millions of years and becomes this black sludge.
Yeah.
People think that dust is basically the equivalent in this world.
Could be.
Because we use dust for the exact same reason that we use oil in our world. They're the exact same thing in a sense. Mm-hmm. So that's an idea. Or dust is just a mix of meteorite from the moon mixed with the god of destruction's power when he destroyed it. So they're the two theories on dust currently.
Yeah, I like to think it's like remnants of the magic residue from that was there. So they used to use magic. They probably had magical items and all of that as well. So I like to think that it's some sort of residue of magic, and it could be also linked to the moon. But just because I don't know, either it's something to do with the moon, or it was just magical residue left over from. Yeah,
I mean, dust could be something that just exists in the planet. It's just because they used magic, they didn't have a need for it. So
that's it. It could have always been there. Yeah,
it could have always been there, and and then we had now tie into semblances. Could just be what's left of magic, like just one form of magic that someone has left. Mm-hmm. Aura could be connected to Salem's immortality, maybe, or just remnants of magic that's left in the world, or something that everyone could, maybe aura could be something that has always existed. Yeah,
that's a good point. I think it probably did. I'd say everyone probably had some form of aura. Semblance was sort of probably overshadowed by their because they were able to use magic. It's probably something they always had. So now that they got said that they're going to be only remnants of humanity, will be only just a remnant of what they once was. So I guess that's the only sort of magical abilities they got left is the semblance and aura, not the other magical abilities they could do.
And that's the thing where it's like, I like the remnants of what's left. I love the world that has been created, and I don't want to go back to what we saw in this episode with everyone using magic, and I just like the world we have. So that's why the idea of bringing the gods back.
Well, it'll be Endgame, so if that was to happen,
so we probably won't even see the aftermath of that anyway. To be fair.
But I understand, with humanity not being whole, the only a remnant. It's kind of using that term.
But at the same time, I feel like that's almost more admirable of humanity to be a remnant, a shell of what they once were, and still be better.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea better than, because again, from what we saw, when humanity was a whole, they were pretty shit.
Yeah.
They were
just relying on their magical abilities too, and well, they had different kingdoms, so they possibly were warring between each other and all.
And it looked like there were hundreds. I mean, we saw only 3 kings, but just from look at there were probably a lot of kingdoms than just say the 4 that have stood the test of time in Remnant. But and then Salem's just left to wander the world with humanity gone.
Yes, and she ended up back at the pool of darkness, thinking, well, if the pool of light gave her, pool of creation gave her life, then maybe the pool of destruction will give her death.
Death. And it's one of those things where if we go on the theory that Remnant was a different continent or one continent, the fountains might have been a lot closer. Yeah. And then if the meteorite caused Connor to... This would have been a long trip.
Yeah.
It took 6 months. It took 6 months to get to Vale to Mistral, or if not just to... and that's not even to Mistral, that's just to Anima.
Well, she doesn't die. She's got the time of the world, so it probably would have taken her many years, maybe centuries, to wander back there. Because she probably would have wandered all over the place. Who knows?
And that's my point. Like we get into obviously evolution, and obviously I think dust probably makes evolution go faster. But again, she could have just been wandering for
many years. Yep.
But also every time we ever get a time, we always get thousands of years. So I don't think thousands of years are necessarily in our world evolution can occur.
No.
But with dust, that can obviously be different.
Yeah, we don't know how much time passed till humanity became again. Yeah, we don't know.
Well, that's also... Well, that's... Wait, no. Well, true. I guess Ozma and Salem, the originals, could have existed millions of years in the past.
Yeah, they could have, And
just Ozma's resurrected form could only be thousands of years in the past.
Yep.
Because we know that by the time Ozma was resurrected the first time, the world was almost as it was now. As a sense. So Salem could have wandered the world for 100,000 years... was grim for another 100,000 years before Ozma finally came back.
Yep.
So we really don't know. It's one of those things where it's just so blah in terms of time and stuff.
But it's cool to see like how she was originally, what drove her to, in the end, to become the Salem we know now. Well, trying to just to die.
drove her to be the person she is now, and then she falls into the Brothers Grimm and just wants to end it, but. It just turns her into... It basically turns her into a Grimm.
Yeah, because she was immortal and given
it turned her into a Grimm. That's basically what she is now.
Yeah, she Grimmified.
a creature for the desire of pure destruction. That's what a Grimm is.
Yeah, it probably would have killed anyone else, but because
100%. It would have destroyed anyone, but... Yeah, so I guess that... Again, I haven't seen people mention it, but it really is just the idea of Salem is a Grimm.
Yep.
It's that simple.
Yep, she was human, and now she's... Grimm,
all
at least
Grimm is a creature with a desire for pure destruction.
Yep. Yeah,
that's what Salem is.
Yeah, though, because I was watching the Boopcast just before this, they were talking about that, how it didn't seem to set in straight away. Like, she seemed to sort of, like, separate herself from humanity. She was the witch, and she was away from humanity, and it wasn't too really, and we'll get to Ozma in a moment, to Ozma, sort of reconnected with them, and they were the gods and all of that. So I think it awakened her thirst for destruction. But
well, you also think about a Grimm too. A Grimm in its base form is nothing more than a ravenous monster for destruction.
That's true.
But an older Grimm, although it has that desire, is smart enough to not be stupid about it.
Yeah.
So I think Salem is just again the equivalent to a fully matured Grimm, where she has her own thoughts, she has her own feelings. She's not driven by that desire. Yeah, she's not mindless. Like she wants to destroy. It basically just made her a bit more evil than what she was. Really.
Yeah. Twisted her motives and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's still very much the same person. I think. I don't think it's changed her that much. Just again, like you saw, like the Goliath Grimm. You know, they want to destroy, but they're still like, we're just doing our own thing.
We just wait until the right moment. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's Salem, you know, and maybe even more so, I think, where she's just like, she has that desire to destroy, but she's not consumed by it.
No, it could be that she was trying to deny it as well at that time, of what had happened to her, and she was trying to resist it too. Could also be in a way she just wanted to just stay away from everyone and just And
it's funny when you said before that it didn't change her immediately. when you said that, I thought you were talking about her appearance.
Oh, yeah, no, that was pretty...
Because obviously the Grim Salem we see in this episode isn't the Grim Salem that we know today.
No, this was like an early form, because now she's a lot more grimified than she was.
Yeah, so again, it's one of those things where, like a Grim, maybe she's getting more Grim-like as she gets older, but the process, because she's immortal, takes a lot longer to set in.
Yep.
She might have continued to bathe in the pools of Grim, maybe more attempts to kill herself, and it's just made her more Grim. So I'm really curious what has made her change more over the years.
And we don't know how much time has passed as well, either, from the events with Salem and Ozma, either, so we don't know.
I'd assume that Salem and... from the original Salem and Ozma, or the resurrected Salem and Ozma?
The resurrected ones. So I was thinking how long that also...
I think it's probably only a matter of a few thousand years.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too much long, but long enough for her to become who she is now. But also, I guess she's more accepted everything, and she's been doing things with the Grimm, which has probably added more effect on her too.
And also, this also does kind of confirm that she doesn't really have domain over the Grimm, really.
No.
I think it's because she is one, she can communicate with them.
Yeah.
I don't think we all thought for a long time that she was the god, or she created the Grimm.
Yeah, she was the mother of Grimm, which I guess, in a way, she is.
She's a mother, she was a mother to the Grimm, just not of the Grimm, if that makes sense.
That's it. Yeah, and I say her dabbling with, working with the Grimm, like with the Seer Grimm, and her sort of treatments with Cinder as well, that... Yeah, it's probably warped her even more now to and she's probably just learned how to control the Grimm over the years. Yeah, and that's had the effect on her too. It's made her even more grimmified.
Again, and also we can't forget that much like the gods and people of the past, she can use magic. So we now know what Salem's deal is. We now know why she's powerful. We now know why she's a threat because she's one of. She's like the maidens. She's basically just a sixth maiden, and Ozma's the fifth.
Yeah, which is a scary thought when she's already powerful enough as she is. But
which is a scary thought, yes, but also it's like, okay, she's not that powerful then, because we've seen maidens be defeated before. So kind of like, okay, so she's immortal, but if we get rid of that, then she's just equivalently just a maiden to defeat.
We don't know with the maidens like how much sort of power abilities they have. Well, Salem was born with this just as her magical ability, and she's had years to control it and master it. So I think she'll be almost like the four maidens combined in a way. Well, with experience, with centuries of years of experience of using magic.
But my point is, though, I think that without her immortality, she does seem beatable, even by our heroes. Yeah, that's true. Which is why I'm glad. Yeah.
It's just the immortality part of it.
Yeah, of course. And this also... What was I going to say? You mentioned that, she's had years to practice her magic and she's more powerful. But what if, like Ozma, over the years, just because magic isn't in the world anymore, maybe she isn't as powerful as she once was in terms of her magic. Because magic might just be fading from the world. Because since magic's no longer there, nothing can fuel their power.
But Osmond had mentioned about his magic wasn't infinite, so...
Now, that might be because every generation, it's like you lose a genetic trait. He's losing his genetic touch to magic each time he reincarnates.
That's also possible, yeah.
Whereas Salem's immortal. But I think it's also not... I think it's possible that both people are losing magic over the years.
Yeah.
Because of just magic not being in the world.
That's true, yeah.
But again, this is all theory crafting, because again, like Salem's Grimm could have something to do with this, and... We're only halfway through this episode. God.
Well, let's get back on track. The God of Light and Ozma, I think we're at. Yeah, we haven't spoken about that yet.
This is one thing that, again, I didn't like. This is the whole bring the gods back.
I was really unsure about it as well, and I was thinking, in a way, why would you want to bring them back with the chance they may destroy everything?
Yeah. And again, I hope that's the mentality they have. I hope they just... Because again, the gods assumingly... have gone off and started a new world and just are off doing their own thing. They don't want to come back. They left this world. They have no... But it's like, well, if you want us to come back, you can do that. But I feel like they've planted that. It's like, why would you give that... Why would you put that idea out there if you weren't going to do it?
Yeah.
From a storytelling standpoint. So that's something we'll have to, again... Episode 4, we'll forget about that. We'll just wait till the end of the show where they bring it back up again. That's my mentality.
It's also like, now Team RWBY will like... Do we really want to get all the relics together? Because as humanity is right now, the gods will probably judge them as not worthy.
and they mentioned that later in the episode where Jin mentions that, despite Osborn trying to put it all behind him, he realized that the only way we will be judged together is we have to destroy Salem. It's the only way that humanity will be whole again.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
At least
It's
in-
just
at least
trying
in-
to unite everyone together and to live in peace. It's very difficult when you've got an immortal being of destruction who wants to destroy everything. It's very
preach.
difficult.
But I do like that, like, Osbin was like, it's like, nah, I don't really want to do this.
No, I just want to be
This
with
is-
the love of my life. And
I was like, well, she's still there. And then that was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'll do it then.
yeah.
I don't care.
He
And
was
again,
more, again, wanting to see Salem, his love.
Yeah,
When he
he
found
didn't
that
care
she
about
was
the
still
past.
alive, he's like, he saw that chance to be with her again, not realising, of course, what had happened.
Yeah.
And what was to
And-
happen.
I don't know how much I like the motivation of everything Ozma has done once he's reincarnated was just to get the relics and bring the gods back. I don't like because they seem to keep enforcing his task
Yeah.
of being his drive. I'm like, I don't really like that really.
Well, I
Because again,
He's
it ties back
trying-
into not liking the gods coming back. It's just like,
Well, it's not just bringing the relics and bringing the gods back. He also has the task of just bringing humanity together. Because if he was
Yeah.
to get the relics
Yes,
together
of
and
course.
summon the gods and they're all deemed unworthy, then that's the end anyway. So the other
Yeah.
side of it
They're-
is
they're
it
two
needs
and
to
the
be
same.
humanity to be working together. So when
Yeah.
he does get all the relics and summon the gods, 'cause he probably could have done that before now, to get all the relics together, but
which
he
a
knows
part
that
of me,
if he
which a
did...
part of me wants to see has, and they just didn't do either.
Yeah,
Like,
or
they
he
come
just
back-
didn't put them together because he knew it wasn't time. That's maybe why he put them at the different academies to
I mean, that's why
separate them.
he locked them away because he just didn't want to bring the gods back, so that's why he locked them away.
Yeah,
separately.
and or new humanity wasn't ready yet because really it's getting better, but still I don't think it is ready in Remnant yet for the gods.
Yeah, and also, do you think that Salem wants the four relics together to become a god herself, or do you think she wants to bring back the gods in some way?
I don't know because I was thinking about that.
I don't know why she wants the relics right now. I'm just
'Cause
not sure why.
Either because it would mean death for her possibly.
Yeah,
but
if the world would be,
The world will be wiped over, but maybe not. She could end up
Wiped out.
lonely again, walking the. Because they said as long as the
Yeah.
Earth turns, she'll be walking in space.
Yeah, but the
So-
way the God of Light mentioned that, like, it's like the world will cease to exist. I think they just wiped the planet,
wipe it out completely.
just wipe from existence. It never happened, kind of thing.
And then that will be death for Salem. So maybe that's what she's seeing is a way to get death for herself.
Yeah.
And of course, she wouldn't tell her followers that.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. This also ties into like, so
I bet she hasn't told them everything. I bet she's telling them that the relics will give them ultimate power and that they will be the gods of this world. Something because she didn't tell the kings and queens when she went to them originally what had happened, that she'd actually had betrayed the gods there, and that's why they made her immortal as a curse. She said it was a gift. So I bet like she's told Watts and Hazel and their other followers a completely different story.
yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, I just want the show to be able to reestablish itself in the world we know, so this can all be just a bit more understandable,
the
I
hearts
guess.
of men are easily swayed. So I bet she's told them more that it will give them power,
that's a very
immortality,
good point.
be
Yeah.
gods,
It just-
something along those lines. That's
Yeah. Again, just the story we know now. I don't know if I like
Hmm.
the idea of Salem wanting to destroy the world to kill herself. Like, I don't know that. I don't know if I like that motivation. It makes sense. of course,
It
but-
makes sense, but I don't know. I think there'll be more to it.
Yeah,
But-
and that's what I mean. This whole episode just keeps. I love the episode for what it was. It just has a lot of implications. I don't know if I'm enjoying where we're going to go with it.
Yeah,
But
I guess we'll
Rooster
see.
Teeth never goes the way Dan you expect him to.
Yeah.
So
We'll-
it's always one of those things. I just wanted to reestablish ourselves so we can get a better idea and just see where we're going.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
But Ozma, and I love the shot of Ozma, like kind of falling down and get
On his
Oscar in the
knees
background.
and Oscar behind him. Poor Oscar.
And the idea that you'll be reincarnated, and almost in parallel to Salem, but you will never be alone. I think
Exactly.
I
In
think
a
that was
way
the
that you
point.
will never be alone. So he's always going to have others with him. And
And I think that's almost in a sense to prevent Salem and Ozma from being together. Because
possibly, but not exactly. I think it's more to be just the parallel of hers. Like, she's just immortal and is always living, while he actually gets the new experiences, new points of views, and I think, and also to see humanity, because his whole point is bringing humanity
it's
together.
a way of keeping him in the world, but not being
Yeah.
a curse like the immortality is.
Yeah, and also because he's meant to be bringing humanity together. When he's reincarnated and he's seeing all these different lives and different, different points of view and things, and that would also help him with learning how to bring humanity together. I think living through these different lives. Yeah,
And I almost think now that I think episode 3 of Volume 5. Wow, I just realized episode 3 do have strong lore episodes because that was last season. because obviously I would have thought up until like now that what we got told in episode 3 was probably a lie.
Yeah.
But now I think about it, Ozma there might actually see the reincarnation as a curse. He might actually view it as a curse.
Yeah, it's a curse given by the gods. Yeah, to him, for many years he probably saw it as a curse. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously he eventually ended up learning, and it also goes to show, in those initial few lives, he probably did just take over the hosts. He probably didn't learn to live with them. He probably just did take over the hosts immediately.
He did take them over, and he saw one which was constantly drinking and all of that. So he lived the lives in mourning. So when he took over that guy's life and he just mourned for the whole term of his lifetime. But
then we
jumping.
That's also a question now I have is, so is the original spirit Ozma, is that still the same one, or is it passed on the previous host, passed on previous host, passed on previous host, or is it the same Ozma that's going through the years?
When Ozma was reincarnated, he had Osborn's voice, I believe, or Shannon McCormick doing his voice. So he had Osborn's voice.
Ozma himself was Aaron. I think his first 2 reincarnations were Shannon.
Yeah.
And then the very last one we saw was also Aaron again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit confusing, but I don't know. It's still not sure exactly how the reincarnation works. Even though a little bit more, we know more than we did, but we still don't know exactly.
It's still not 100%. So he resurrects as this, farmhand, which is a nice little touch.
I don't think it would actually completely take over, because he's meant to never be alone. So I guess the souls sort of live together. In a way, they kind of might probably merge a bit, but they'll always be separate identities.
They kind of merge, and they pass on, they merge, pass on, merge, pass on, merge, pass on, maybe.
Yeah, but they're still separate identities. His memories always stay with him. So, I think they're still, even though they're sort of merged a bit, they still are separate entities. So I don't think he'll ever take over Oscar as such. It's just they'll sort of...
The two will just become one.
They'll sort of become more merged, but Oscar will still be Oscar, and Ozpin and Ozma and all the other reincarnations are still there. They're just merged together. But
I guess basically what I'm asking is, when Oscar dies, does Oscar move on, or does Ozma move on?
I think Oscar will move along with them.
Oscar moves along.
Yeah, I think he will go with them. So he'll go with them as being part of the entity.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll just merge with them, but he'll still be part of the entity with them. So they're never alone. There's thousands, who knows how many are merged together.
At this point, then we get a nice little nod here that I'm not sure I understood, but when Oscar says, he didn't know.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe Ozma didn't even really, obviously he had that talk with the God of Light, but then it was almost like he didn't really realize what he was getting himself into.
Yeah.
Because he didn't realize he was in another body. He didn't realize that he was...
It's his first reincarnation. He didn't know what was going on. Neither did the poor host either.
And also the person himself didn't know that he was getting a soul given to him, in a sense. Then we move on to the Wicked Witch.
Oh, before we do, though, we get to see how humanity is now at that time.
Yes, right,
so you pass through a town with a market. We saw the faunas in cages. You saw them selling dust.
Yeah, that was all really cool. I like that.
Yeah, so that was really interesting to see how humanity was and how the faunas were to be as well. Where they came
because again, too, I didn't really realize it until we've discussed it now. When I watched the episode, I was like, okay, so he dies, all stuff happens, world gets destroyed, and then he comes back. And it was like, wow, the world changed so quickly. But again, that's probably years
jumped in. So, because when the God of Light was talking to him, he said humanity is no more. So I think at the time of that conversation, or shortly after the world was destroyed, and even probably before Salem actually jumped in the pools, but it just said, humanity is no more. So when Ozma actually
years in the future,
reincarnated was when humanity was back again, and there was a like-minded soul for him to merge with. So to him, it was probably an instant, but it was probably over years of time. Yeah.
We then get the witch.
Yes.
We get to see, and again, the whole idea of love being stronger than magic kind of thing. They know who each other.
Love transcends time. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Sorry.
and again, them not seeing each other as monsters, them seeing each other as the original souls that they were. Them again, then them discussing them and not giving them each side of their story.
Withholding information. No, withholding information from each other.
Yeah.
Even at
but
the start,
I still feel like this might have been the first time Ozma learnt this, but
Yeah.
I don't. In terms of like him seeing this knowledge,
Yes.
but I don't know for certain. Like obviously, what is Ozma hiding from us? You'd think he would know. I don't know. I feel like this might be his first time, but we'll have to wait and see if he knew this already.
Well, I don't know. I say,
Just in terms of like Salem destroying the gods or showing the world,
well,
not gods.
That's what also Theodore was saying before, is what Osborn is hiding. It was probably hiding all of that. But whether he actually knew all of that, I'm not sure. But
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if he asked the question, what happened to the gods? Because Jean can answer 3 questions every 100 years. That's a lot of time has passed with Osborn. He could have asked 3 questions every 100 years. We don't know what he asked.
Yeah, he really could have.
He could have, or he may not have known the full story as Jin's telling it now. So,
And the next part I really like, because this is obviously what I've thought for a long time, when Salem was just like, we can be the gods of this world.
Yeah, we have magic.
I love that. I love that a lot.
Yes.
And, obviously he's apprehensive, but again, the hearts of men are easily swaying.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, we'll do this.
And then,
yeah.
this is something that I've wanted to ask, but I have no idea. Is this Ozpin, is this the same reincarnation, or is this the next one after that?
No, it's the same one, so it's the same one with the white hair. Yeah.
You sure? I don't think it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because we actually see him. He's got different clothing on, and but in the intro where we see the reincarnations, we see Ozma. Then we see this guy with the white hair wearing a purple robe. So it's definitely him. It's the same guy. It's just he's dressed differently, and he is acting as a god. So probably seems a bit different in his demeanor.
Yeah, I don't know. It just looks so different to me that it looks to me like more than different reincarnation.
No,
I guess it doesn't really matter
it's the same,
either
'cause
way.
he's got the same white hair and brown eyes and everything. Yeah, it's just later on actually I noticed when they were having the talk in the palace that his eyes were slowly turning green. Not sure if you noticed that.
Okay.
But it's definitely the same guy.
Okay.
But,
No,
yes.
fair enough.
So they were the gods, and they
Were the gods,
created
just
a kingdom.
crushed
That
them.
Grim. That was really cool, and it just turned inside of itself.
Yeah.
That was Salem doing that because it was glowing purple, so...
Yeah. I kept thinking that this was her castle, but I guess it's not because it's not in the Grimscape, so there still isn't her castle.
That's what I thought too, but I don't know unless... We're not sure. I don't know. Unless she's living
like
in the ruins, but it's not in the Greenscape.
Yeah.
As it became Grimscape, she may have made it Grimscape.
But
Maybe it's on
also,
the Dragon
there's a good
Isle.
chance- There's a good chance that this location exists.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, so it
That
does.
Statues are still
It's in
there. And I do
ruins.
like the idea whenever people talk about gods, they're not referring to the brother gods, they're referring to Ozpin and Salem.
They probably are, because they wouldn't have known
Because they
the
wouldn't
original
know
gods.
that the other
Yeah,
ones exist.
yeah, so probably them, as well as probably other gods as well.
Sure,
in the world
sure,
that
of
they've
course.
either created themselves. So
yeah.
the maidens
Also-
too may have even led to that.
Also, too, another foreshadow I noticed is that now we know what the fountain was in the train station.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
it was a black and gold dragon.
It was a black and gold
Some
dragon,
heads.
yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, like obviously, I think that's probably more coincidental or just spiritual. Obviously, because they wouldn't know about those gods. But
Well, the scene Grim, like we've seen a Werven Grim, and we've seen a dragon, well, not quite a dragon because he didn't have hind feet, but a more one that resembled the God of Darkness. That was Kevin back in Volume 3.
well, yeah, that was like you said, that was a wyvern grim. Yeah.
Yeah, he was no
Like,
more
more
vibrant, but
dragon.
he looked more dragonish than the Werven that we saw in Blake's ship fight back in Volume 4. So.
Oh, that was a Feilong. That was a Chinese. That was like an actual Chinese dragon.
Yeah, so they're similar. So it could be that people seen them and then
Sure,
that
of
was sort
course.
of inspiration for the fountain. Yeah.
But again, Mistral could be where the fountain. We think that's where the fountain of
Yeah.
life was.
Yeah.
So there could still be, relics to like like that statue. There could be smaller ones still exist in the world. People just don't recognize what they're connected to. So
they could be because
so-
there'll still be remnants of
remnants
the
remnants. No, pun
Remnants,
intended.
we keep saying
remnants
that.
of the gods still probably exist
yeah.
in the world. They weren't destroyed when humanity was wiped out. So those
Yeah.
probably still exist. People might find those and still see those as gods or whatever, but just not realize the actual implications.
Yeah.
Those are real gods.
Mm.
So yeah, then we learnt that they had a family.
Yes.
I've got a few people relate this to the idea of the four maidens. I don't think so. I think it's why he connected so strongly to the
Yeah,
four
I'm
maidens.
thinking that too as well, because they reminded him of his daughters. And
Yeah.
he was, at the time, the story says, as an old man, hidden away. He was just waiting to die, and he seen these four girls who reminded him of his daughters, and they inspired him to continue on his path. So, I still think, I'm hoping that one of them escaped. Because
The
also,
children. Yeah.
children. Because also remember how we were saying last podcast with Salem being, John being a descendant of Salem.
Yeah,
Because of
yeah.
the symbols. It's very possible that one of the girls did escape.
Yeah.
And, she lived on and become possibly part of the Ark family, using the archers as the symbol for the family. Her magic may have diminished in time since then as well, because she's not reincarnating, she'll just be dying and,
Yeah.
even though magic might have passed on down the generations, probably diminished as it went.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I really
yeah.
hope that one of them survived. And one of them did
Yeah.
have blonde hair and blue eyes. So... Who knows? I just felt that there was too much of a connection there with the archers. The girls have, one of them having blonde hair, blue eyes, so...
Yeah.
And the Salem originally had blonde hair, blue eyes too, so...
That's true. She had very light blue eyes. I think she had more
very light blue eyes.
Bluish green eyes. But yeah.
and blonde hair.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. They got, of course, they got in the crossfire, but I do like the Before that, we got the like the mirror scene. We got the realization that Ozma's still here.
Yes.
There's still the idea here.
What are we doing?
Yeah. What are we doing? I love the talk. I love one of my favorite things, and there might be an art post about this soon. I love the scene of Osmond walking back and forth and Salem's just resting bitch face.
Yes.
Just listening to him, or as I told it, the resting god face.
Yes, the resting god face.
and just like her and again, and I kind of agreed with Salem to a point where it's it doesn't the old gods don't matter right now.
No, they don't. We
They
are
don't
the
matter
gods. Yeah.
I don't agree with her destroying humanity again and creating because I assumed her idea was maybe destroying humanity and her own family was repop. I don't know. If that's
I
exactly
think that's what they sort of thought with magic. They can repopulate the world and bring it back to what it was with their magic abilities. Yeah.
Or at least her followers can rule and populate the earth. One of the two. Not necessarily her children, but necessarily her their followers. Because obviously at that point she's spreading them out and it's causing wars and stuff. But her followers are trying to take over the world.
And he's thinking, of course, that the task he was given by the gods was to have humanity. To be working together and being harmonious, and he's Salem just waging war across the planet.
Yeah. No, and then one of my favorite things was just again him trying to sneak out the children.
Yes.
And, again, we've never praised Ozpin for being a good guy, and I don't think this episode has necessarily justified everything. It's justified everything he's done, but it still doesn't make him a good guy.
No, it doesn't. It just gives more reason as to his actions, why he's made certain decisions.
This episode does a really good job of having us sympathise with both characters, but still re-establishing that Salem is the big bad, and she still will need to be. Even though we sympathise for her, we still want her to be destroyed. And honestly, it's almost at this point, in a sense, mercy, I guess, to destroy Salem. Yeah. Because in a sense, that's almost what she wants.
Yeah.
So so it's cool that again we have a villain that we can sympathise with for reasons. But it's still a bad guy that we still want to destroy, but also destroying her might be a good thing even for her. Yes. And then with Ozpin, we okay, so we get justification for all the bad things he's done, but he's still a liar.
Yeah, well, that's it. He's still manipulating, trying, to...
And, for good or worse, the man tried to steal his children from their mother.
Yeah, I guess because he was worried of what she was going to
Yeah, no, of course. I'm not saying he's not unjustified in that, but still, Salem's you motherfucker trying to take my children away from me.
Bad decision. And of course you see her almost like the Salem we know, really angry, hands clenched and everything.
And again, the idea is she still has magic. This is the end game is fighting a maiden in a sense.
We haven't really seen her use magic
because we didn't know what power she had. We didn't know if she had a weapon. We didn't know if she had any powers whatsoever. We knew nothing. We were all just fearing Salem for no reason because we didn't know why we were fearing.
We just got the feeling she was someone to be feared, though it hadn't really been explained.
Which was
why.
one of the criticisms people had of her or the show, that we didn't know why she was insignificant. Yeah, she was introduced at Volume 3, and now I'm meant to fear her, but we never had a reason to. Well, patience. Now we do.
Now we do. Exactly.
We haven't mentioned it, but I like that so many times throughout this episode we saw the girls throughout the episode. And it's just such a really nice kind of
Yeah, I like how we've got to see all of them and Crow as well.
They're not being told their story, we're seeing them see their story.
It, and they're being part of it. There was one moment where Ruby had a sword flung at her face. She's like, ah!
Yeah. And I don't know if the Rooster Teeth know Keith or like Keith, but they have made Weiss adorable.
Oh my
this volume
God,
So far.
yeah.
Every time we see her, she has some adorable. Like they've made her eyes like bigger.
Yeah.
So she always looks so adorable and concerned. It's like, oh my God, Weiss.
Well,
every time
when
I see
Salem
her.
was crying and you just see Weiss looking so sad
Yeah.
behind her, like, oh, Weiss.
Weiss probably relates to Salem a lot.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we
she
said that
does.
earlier. I
Yeah.
imagine she kind of does.
Mm.
It's one of those things where also we now know the girls, they all know this.
Mm-hmm.
Hi Maria, you're there.
We haven't seen her in
um,
this, yeah. I'm assuming she's seeing it too, unless it's a bit different.
But
with
it's
her
also
eyes.
one of those things where, obviously the rest of the team doesn't know, so
Yeah.
we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it with Team Juniper.
Maybe that's why Jean is in the intro is throttling Oscar, because he finds out.
But that was also seemingly a flashback, because that was in the Mistral House.
It was.
That
so,
scene. So we'll
I
see.
don't know, maybe.
I do really like, I know this is going off topic, but because we mentioned Maria, I love this theory that someone has mentioned that she's not a silver-eyed warrior necessarily. She's the big bad wolf.
The big bad wolf.
So she's going to pretend to be something she's not in order to try to kill Ruby for whatever reason.
I don't like that idea because I like Maria too much. I like to think she's like the
But I
grandma
like
in the
the idea
story.
of her being a silver-eyed warrior is so on the nose at this point.
I know, but it makes sense, and it'll be good for Ruby to get a guide and someone who can help
we
teach
also
her.
don't have a big bad wolf yet, despite them being such a big part of the
Well,
story.
the Grimm, in a way, is the wolves, and
That's true. I guess
that's
that's
Ruby. Like, even in the trailer, she fought the Grimm. It's always been her mission to be a huntress, to fight the Grimm, to protect humanity. So the big bad wolf in her story really is the Grimm, and now I guess is Salem. Now that she knows about Salem, so
I'm also a little not annoyed, but it's always one of those things whenever we see Grimm, it seems like these days all we see is Beowulfs.
yeah.
Like in the Grimmscape at the Fountain of Darkness, like. I understand that the Beowulfs are the most common Grimm because, like we said, the Ruby and the Big Bad Wolf, that's why they're the most common Grimm. And that, we've only ever seen the wolves come out of the pools, so it makes sense at the Grimmscape. But it would have been cool to see Ursa or Borbatusk or the Scorpion, which we haven't seen in a long time, the Deathstalker.
No, that's true, the Deathstalker, yeah.
This is one of the King Taijitu, which I think everyone needs to see in the 3D, in Maya, because a lot of people don't realise there's a two-headed snake still.
Yes,
It wasn't shown off very well in Volume 1 that it was a two-headed snake.
Maybe back then that most of the Grimm were... you did see the flying ones, but maybe originally the Grimm were just the Beowulfs, and then eventually over time more different Grimm came to be.
Well, we knew that through the world of Remnant, that, the Grimm have evolved throughout the years. So at that time, yes, the Beowulfs and Nevermores might have been the only ones that really existed.
Because they were mainly wolves
That's a fair point.
in Remnant. I guess the brother probably saw them when he was creating them, was thinking of wolves and...
That's a very fair point.
Yeah.
So back to it, and then we get
the big battle between Ozma and Salem, which destroyed everything, including the girls by the looks. But I'm hoping one of them at least escaped.
And
that was very sad. They had the little Ash floating down with the toy down, and it was Divide playing, I believe.
Yeah, and it was almost like slow motion almost, and I had like a real it reminded me of a bloody like Spirited Away. Or or the fish one. I forgot what the fish one's called. Just there's Japanese anime films. Like just the idea of that, and it was all in slow motion. I had that animation style to it for a second. I don't know why. They had really. Ponyo is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the music was so on point with that as well, because it was very childlike, sad childlike with the Emma floating down. It's like dun, dun, dun.
And also one of the interesting things too that I kind of just realized now.
Yeah.
Ozma.
Oz
defeated Salem.
Yeah.
He won that battle.
Yeah.
He almost died, but he won the battle. But because of her immortality, she didn't actually die. But seemingly, she actually was killed. But then,
well, I
came
don't
back.
know, because she sort of teleported up in a way.
But then her immortality brought her back up.
Maybe,
so it looked like she was beaten at least.
Yes,
and Oz just survived, but and then it's and to a sense, if as conflicting as it was, if Ozma had stayed on that path, if Oz had stayed on that path with Salem, and did conquer the world, that would have been a united world.
Yeah,
they would have had freedom. I get it. It's the wrong freedom, but
that's a good point.
Salem has a lot of points.
Then again, it could have become worse. It could have been Salem's thirst for destruction as well, and the Grimm and everything. It could have gone a lot worse if she did get her way. It wouldn't have been a good world, definitely. Yeah. And the people who won will be those who were fighting the others, so they'll want to probably start warring between each other, and it would have probably become a mess.
I just like the idea that, you know, Salem had a point, you know, it was like, you know, we finally had freedom, the gods weren't here anymore, you know, things were good for us for once, and, you know, he threw it away for what a god told him to do.
Yeah. But also what he felt was right, because he just didn't think it was the right thing to do, so he wanted to get his children away from that, but it backfired badly.
Yeah. Then we get we just get a sight on all of his lives after that, you know, the 1,000 years he spent in mourning or just trying to forget, or
see him being a drunkard, an old man. Then we get to see the one with the glasses, who I really liked his design. I don't know, he just reminds me of someone, but I really liked his design with the glasses, that guy.
Yeah. And I really like how, like, over the years he tinkered the staff to make it into eventually more to the cane. The cane, yeah. So I guess he did that because I guess he was like an inventor. Everyone thought he was an author, but he was more like a blacksmith kind of.
Yeah, he was a tinkerer. Yeah, so you can see when he was older tinkering with it. So,
and then we finally get the idea that, you know, at this point Osmo's just in the background. Yeah, you know? He's just there, but he's just enjoying the life of these people.
Yeah, he's learning to live in harmony with them. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, of course, the Grimm, which he now relates to Salem, are still constantly around, and he needs to destroy Salem just so that the Grimm can be managed, and that therefore humanity will be united once the Grimm are destroyed. And I don't know if you've seen this. This is a big thing everyone got blown up about. Now, I didn't see this the first 3 times I watched it because I kept looking at the wrong children.
Oh, okay.
But apparently, and I don't think this is the case, but it looks like it is. But we thought the same thing with Ilya back in Volume 5. Apparently, the children of the Tinkerer had silver eyes.
They probably just got grey eyes.
It looks like it. It definitely looks like they do. But yeah, I don't think that's the
case.
All
pale blue.
You haven't seen it.
Because
Because
RWBY's eyes now, especially with the new animation, they're very metallic. They're not just with
It's one of those things where you might have to look at it and tell me what you think. But
because Ilya's eyes change color as well. They do look silver when they're not changed color, but they're very pearlescent, and then they're very different to RWBY's. So they're more almost whitish, while RWBY's is more grey.
I know someone said that RWBY's silver eyes was significant because for a few details. One, her eye design is different from anyone else's in the show. Just the way the pupil works. The pupil's a lot bigger than a lot of people's. Most characters have like the little crescent and then a color around the outside, whereas RWBY's is just a pupil. Then the color doesn't have an outline.
Yeah.
She has a lot more details and markings in her eyes. Like little like white lines, like little dark like effects and stuff. And people say that, well, that's what silver eyes is, but Ironwood had that in Volume 3 as well. Yeah. It was like Ironwood's face and he had like little white flicks in his eyes because it's so zoomed out you can't see it.
Yeah.
But they make it more detailed in RWBY's. So yeah, I don't think, I don't know, I guess Ozpin could have silver-eyed children at some point in his life, but I don't know, I don't think so, but I guess it could be, I really don't know. I know a lot of people blowing up about that though, so I don't know.
I don't think all of them would, but it wouldn't surprise me at some point if he did have a child.
It could be it could be like silver eyes could be just like a semblance, could be just some form of magic.
Yeah, I think it could be some sort of residue magic and something to do with the God of Light. It wouldn't surprise me if he, it's even originally when the God of Darkness created the Grimm before they wiped humanity, that the God of Light also created humans with the ability to have silver eyes to conquer some of the Grimm as sort of like a balance. And then when they wiped, some humanity still had that, ability. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes.
But it also could have been like although like Ozpin sent, we didn't even talk about the relics.
No, we didn't actually.
When the God of Light sent Ozpin back.
Yes.
To unite the world, he could have also laid the Silver Eyes power in there as well.
Yeah, possibly.
As like a last little gift for humanity's sake.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of the relics. So one of the ideas I liked about that scene was that have the relics reform yourselves. It's not necessarily about here's the relics, bring them together, and we'll come back. It's like
it's more like you need to
take your ideals and remake yourselves because we're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But if you want to bring us back,
when you are ready, when you're ready, yeah.
But he's like, here, rebuild yourselves. Let's just finish the episode before we get to the relics then, because we're pretty close.
We're almost finished, yeah.
So yeah, obviously he goes out, finishes the staff, locks it away so that the next person can come pick it up, which is cool. We always want how do the next reincarnate get the cane. His idea locks it away somewhere, then tells the person to go find it. manages to find himself the Relic of Knowledge. Mm-hmm. How? I don't know. Good on ya.
Well, he probably eventually figured out where it was.
Yeah. Well, like at that point, they were just around the world. Like there was no. Well, I don't know. He did build the schools around the relics. Maybe that's where the relics were, and then built the.
I don't know.
But
that's where the relics came to be.
You could have like put them there and then built the relics, the schools around them.
Yeah, I say they were in different parts of the world, and he eventually found them. Like he found Salem. I think he probably followed word of mouth, and he probably heard something about like a lamp and a genie sort of thing. And like, oh, this sounds interesting, and
but how do you find out what the word was to summon the genie? I don't know.
That I don't know.
But of course. Asks his questions and then like learns, can't defeat Salem. He can't.
Well, that's it. I was talking to Becca, so I was saying Salem can't be destroyed. It said Osmond asked the question, how do I destroy Salem? I'm like, well, I didn't really think of that actually. I just assumed it couldn't be destroyed. But it's one of those things where we just asked a question and got 30 minutes worth of an answer, but yet one wrong word and she's not going to give us an answer. Like it doesn't make doesn't seem to match up that well. That when Osmond asked the question, Ruby and the girls weren't there at all. It was just Osmond asking, how do I destroy Salem? And Jin's like, well, you can't.
Yeah, it was a simpler question.
It was, so, Beck said she had an idea about this, and I'm thinking I know where she's going. Something to do with Ruby and her silver eyes, but...
Yeah. And I think it can't destroy Salem, but it might be able to purge... I think it's going to be able to purge...
The Grim from her,
and then she can be reasoned with.
Maybe weaken her down.
Destroyed. She doesn't need. Remember, she doesn't need to be destroyed.
No,
she could be maybe reformed to human, and then reasoned with, and then.
And she could lose her connection with the Grim that way too, and
that's what I'm saying. Like,
that could also help the situation.
Because the Silver Eyes, we know from Crow, are basically a defense directly against the Grim.
Yeah.
And it couldn't destroy Salem, but it could purge the Grim from her.
The Grim from her.
And then as a human, she might be able to reason with, or hell, they might not even want to they might just capture her. And it's like, well, you can't do anything if she's captured. The world will be at peace. Like, it's just like killing her and capturing her accomplishes the same idea of getting her out of the picture.
The only problem is, of course, she is a very powerful being who can use magic. So even with the Grim taken off her, she would still be able to do magic.
Let's not forget that someone has the power to create portals to an alternate realm to hide relics in.
That's the other thing. How did they
always trap Salem on one of those?
Well, that could also have been Osmond's doing, because he could do magic, so...
Of course.
Lock Salem back in a tower.
But then I guess Salem would be able to get out at that case, then, I suppose.
Yeah.
If Osmond makes the portal, it makes those realms, then maybe Salem could make them as well. Get out of it as well.
And the realm, with the one with where the Relic of Knowledge was, with the golden sand, also reminded me a lot of the Shrine of the God of Light with the gold and everything, but I think that was just symbolic.
Also, just realised this too. They put the Relic of Knowledge in a desert to connect to Aladdin. I didn't even realise that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Like, there you go. That makes sense. I didn't think about that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the episode. That was a hell of an episode. But there's still a few things that we can gloss over, of course.
So the relics. Now we know what the relics are. So so we know there's the crown, which will be the relic of choice, I would believe. Looked like a wand, being the
looked like a wand that was creation. Remember how he said about the symbols?
Yes.
And like it's not a paintbrush, but it looks pretty close to a paintbrush.
Yeah.
So I think that's the collective creation of Atlas with the Winter Maiden.
Yes.
And
the sword being the
sword, which Vacchio's symbol. Vacchio's symbols are 3 swords, so the sword is the one destruction of Vacchio.
Yep.
And then the choice.
Choice
Veil
with the
axes, but the axes does have like a crown of thorns.
It's like a wreath, sort of. I had to have a look at it.
So I think that kind of works.
And people pointed out, like, the King of Vale was wearing a crown.
King of Vale had a crown. I don't know if that's necessarily the relic.
But it could have been symbolized, like...
It could have been. No, it could have been the relic.
It could have been inspired by it too, don't know.
Well, I guess that's maybe how he manipulated the other kingdoms to kind of come together.
Yeah.
He took the choice from them, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what that relic does.
Yeah, it could control choice
like mind control, in a sense.
Or maybe make people see the choices to them, because sometimes you can't see what choices are ahead of you. You only see perhaps one option when there is another option. Also like Ilya, for example, where she saw her only option was violence. To fight violence with violence, not seeing the other option as well. So it could be that the relic of choice shows people the choices that are open to them.
Connecting to a lot of things we've talked about. So we talked about the Relic of Choice.
Yes.
We talked about possible ancestors of Salem.
Yes.
We talked about Salem's greenish blue eyes and her yellow hair.
Yeah.
There is a character in the show that has blonde hair, has greenish eyes, and whose symbol is a crown. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. Glinda.
And we know that Osborn has his 4 lieutenants, but
Yes.
Glinda seems to be an oddball of that.
She
She's
is
not
very
one of the
odd, yeah.
lieutenants.
Yeah, she's...
Crow is assumingly the agent for Vale, and then
Yeah.
the other headmasters are the other agents for their kingdoms.
Mm.
Whereas Glinda is an assistant. Now, I think that it's really difficult, because obviously at this point we don't think Glinda's going to come back into the show.
No.
Just for production reasons.
Yes.
But she has a crown on her back as a symbol.
Yes.
She could we know that her semblance, she can use a semblance of dust, but what if that's not her semblance? What if that's not dust? What if that is magic?
The magic,
Gen-
yeah, because it
not
is a
made
very
magic,
interesting
not made-
semblance with how
Not
it
made
works.
magic, but genetic magic.
Yeah.
So what if her, much like John, is some descendant of Salem who can use magic
Mm-hmm.
and who has some connection to the Relic of Choice?
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I like it.
And that's why she's such a close lieutenant to Ozpin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that again, and we're going to get into foreshadowing in just a bit, but that's like that's a lot of cool little details there
Mm-hmm.
that we've learnt. So I don't know. Again,
And also, like, Glinda being, her inspiration being the Good Witch from Wizard of Oz as well.
Yes.
Mm.
Which should be a very significant part of the story, but it kind of hasn't been.
No.
But you look at all the fairy tales, that should be a really significant character,
Yep.
you'd think.
Yep.
Even though the Good Witch, at least in the movie, wasn't a super significant character, but I think you said that
Yeah.
in Wicked, she's a bit more of a.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because they're all friends.
Yeah.
The two of them. And, and she always felt bad for what happened. Because she had seen what happened, but, yeah, she still was powerless to be able to protect her.
So I'm very interested if Glinda has a more important thing. And also, we know that the Relic of Choice is more well guarded than the other relics, so maybe that's Glinda is the guard of the Relic of Choice.
Maybe.
Which is why it's more protected, or maybe she knows where it maybe only she knows where it is, but Osmond doesn't, and like that was her burden. So like, you know, if Osmond were to be captured, he couldn't tell her where the relic is because he doesn't even know. Maybe he gave that burden to Glinda.
I wonder where the relic is. I don't think it's actually in the vault at all. I think that was a whole ploy to make Salem think it was in the void under the school. I say it's probably somewhere else.
People have said it's in the old man's village, or old man's shack. It could be. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
I'll say it'll be somewhere protected, but again, only the maidens have access, perhaps, or maybe it's completely different where, only Osmond's able to access it.
So, yeah. I'd assume with the Relic of Creation that it's one of those things where, as far as Osmond knows, it's safe in the vault. I don't think Ironwood knows what the relic is, but I think he has it, he's using it, he's abused it.
Yeah.
Correct Penny or whatever have you. I just don't think he realizes what it actually is, and he's just kept that from Ozpin.
So creation, could. Well, I don't know if it necessarily will bring life back, but it could bring life to something. Yeah.
Penny.
No, well, that was the penny. But I mean, like, it could bring. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what that one does.
I think that's a matter of, like, you know, because I don't think Ironwood's the newest lieutenant.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's in the loop that much.
Probably not.
So I think because Atlas are smarter than their own good, they opened the vault, found this thing, didn't realize what it is, and it's abused its power.
Yeah.
But as far as Ironwood is aware, he thinks he's still keeping the relic safe, or keeping whatever he's bound to safe. Just not realizing that that's the relic. And Vacuo, it's probably just someone's weapon.
Yeah.
Someone it's probably not even in the vault. It's probably just someone's weapon. Don't realize it.
Yeah.
Or
I wonder what it would do though.
What if the Relic of Destruction? Okay, so I think the Relic of Destruction is just. It's more. I don't think it's like a. It's not like a. Obviously, it's a sword.
Yeah.
But you know, like the Relic of Choice, you probably have to wear it, and you can
maybe see your choices,
something, or you can control people, or whatever. Relic of Creation is more like a wand kind of thing.
Yeah.
Relic of Destruction is probably more like a physical weapon. I'm not saying you can launch laser beams out of itself and blow something up, but it probably is something to the degree of like, it's just a powerful weapon that can just destroy.
Maybe it can go through armor and aura and things like that.
You can probably create powerful pulses of destructive magic and stuff like that. But but I'm wondering if that is not necessarily in a vault. It's a Sword of the Stone. It's an Excalibur.
Oh yeah, an Excalibur.
It's
that would be
in
cool.
Vacuo, where everyone, and again, Vacuo is the place where if you can survive here, you live here. That's the kind of place where I'd imagine there'd be a sword and stone in the middle of the courtyard that no one can actually use because no one can get it out because you need the maiden. Only the maiden can pull the sword out of the stone or what have you.
Yeah, that makes
but
sense.
That's probably like a known artifact, probably something that just exists in Vacuo.
It's probably in the middle of the school.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's probably just the centerpiece, like the statue was in Mistral.
The statue, maybe in the statue, he's holding the sword, but no one realizes that's what it is.
Yeah,
because it's just looks like part of the statue.
Only the maiden could pull it out of its place.
That would be cool. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I still think with the really good choice, because people say maybe controlling people. I don't think so, because it's all about having a choice between light and dark. That was the whole reason behind choice. So I'm thinking it will show people their choice. Like, if they're coming to a decision where they don't know what path to have, it will show them the choices they have. And possibly even a glimpse of maybe, not exactly the future, but maybe a glimpse of some of the path that lay if you take a certain choice.
Yeah,
maybe.
But I'm also thinking, too, what if because it could take away that choice?
Yeah, I don't
know. What if it could bound someone to only be light or dark, and just be like, and it just took away that choice from someone where they had to be one or the other.
Well, the gift from the gods was to be able to choose between light and dark, so it wouldn't make sense to me that the relic would take that away that was the gift from the gods, because they gave the gift to humanity was creation, destruction, choice, and knowledge. So choice and the gift of choice was so humanity could choose between light and dark. They could choose between creation and destruction, and knowledge to be able to understand the world they lived in. So, I definitely think that choice will be something along the lines of showing their choices. It wouldn't be taking it away or controlling it, because that just wouldn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, I
give
agree.
them a gift that takes away.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
So that was a hell of an episode.
It was.
It ties in a lot to a lot of the foreshadowing.
Yeah, it does.
That, has always been a thing of the show. So we have. Let's even just try to do this.
Well, it was firstly the salient speech back in Volume 1, Chapter 1. That's the first one. Man born from dust.
The second group of humanity.
Yeah. Remnants, byproducts of a forgotten past.
So the what's left of the previous world that was there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and there's, the darkness will always return. It was another part of Salem's speech there, and Oz is like simple soul.
They move into the simple soul. Like,
so I'm still thinking that ties into RWBY's.
I'm still waiting to see what significance that has.
Well, I still think with this discussion, was saying the darkness will always return. Osmond's like, about talking about a simple soul, RWBY, maybe that is still tying to the fact of what we're thinking. Maybe RWBY is going to have a significant part in defeating Salem, not necessarily destroying her, but defeating her.
I mean, what if it's as simple like we saw at the premiere of Volume 6?
Yeah.
What if it's just Salem? RWBY's the only one who can get through to Salem. And
maybe.
And just let her know that what she's doing is wrong, and that she needs to. And what if it's simply a simple soul? She's only maybe because we saw Crow, he was being aggressive and he couldn't get through to the guy. What if that's just RWBY's ability? What if she can just get through to people and be that spark and kind of just be like, hey, now that my eyes have purged you of your grim, just stop.
Just stop. Yeah.
Just stop. And it could be as simple as that, and I think that'd be really cool. We have the Silver Eyes, but obviously we got that in Volume 3. We then got that in Volume 3. The moon, obviously destroyed by the Remnant. The fairy tales from
fairy tales, the girl in the tower.
I don't know if it counts as foreshadowing, but Cinder and the Vital Festival was Leo.
Yeah.
In Volume 5, that was maybe more like, that wasn't foreshadowing as much as it was like just confirming something later on.
It was more confirming how they got to be part of
what's in Volume 3 is Symbol, and the Queen Virus, then what's in Volume 5, Volume 4.
I was going to say something, now it's gone now. Damn it. What was I about to say?
Winter in Volume 2, we shall see Winter in Volume... Crow! Like, I always feel like Crow is like such a significant character in this story now. And it's like, that always feels weird to me because he's not part of the four main girls. But then it's just like, but he was one of the most foreshadowed
from
implied
even chapter
significant
1.
character that they've been enforcing in the show since day one. Like this is
Yep.
he's meant to be a significant character because he's been foreshadowed for so long.
Yeah, it was mentioned in the first episode, and at the end of the first volume as well, we see the message sent to Osborn. So
Yang
from
mentions
him,
her in volume 2.
yes,
he was definitely enforced a lot to show up.
he just wasn't part of there because he was doing his own thing for Osborn at the time. So
Hunt down the maidens, etc.
yeah, was sent on a mission and never returned. And it was what RWBY said back in volume 3. Yeah, what are you doing here? Sort of thing.
I'm so curious what role, like, obviously Team Stark was, like, Team RWBY before them.
Yeah.
In a sense, versus, like, whereas Team Stark I always saw as, these are the best huntsmen in the world, these are the best warriors in the world, these people can help me, my goals.
Yeah.
Simple as that. RWBY, I think, is very different. RWBY herself has the silver-eyed powers. That's something significant.
Yeah.
Yang is the daughter of what I've always thought the best huntress in the world. I've always thought Raven to be the best, the most powerful, skilled. No one can beat her apart from Salem, in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's without her maiden powers. But now she has maiden powers, good God. So Yang is the potential of the two best huntsmen in the world. Had a kid. Yep. She must be better than Team Stark was. Eventually, at some point. Blake is a faunus. And we know that that Ozpin has manipulated faunus in the past with Lionheart, etc., to kind of gain favor, and literally the faunus are his army.
Yeah.
So Blake is his sense to give Ozpin an army. And then Weiss has resources. Yeah. So Ozpin was almost using all these 4 girls for different reasons.
Yeah,
And that's why they're important to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to see, like, what role they'll have going forward compared to, like, say, what Stark had. And that also then ties into, why isn't Ty involved in this now? Why is Ty just not a non-factor? What was Summer's role? Raven left, obviously, and Crow is still a thing. So, what happened with Ty? Why is Ty just...
Okay. Yeah.
Why is Ty's not, like, a big thing? So.
Well, I think also, like, RWBY said that back at the start of Volume 3 that Ty was going to be taking missions again, so... Yeah. I guess he was teaching at Signal, and now,
But it's just weird for him to assume him to have been a part of all this, and just...
Maybe he just didn't want to be a part of it. Maybe he was given the choice and said, no, I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But then lets his children, I guess, gives them the choice. They can make that same choice, I guess.
Well, they wanted to be huntsmen and huntresses, so I guess he understood why they want to be huntsmen and huntresses. But to be actually part of Osborn's inner circle and know all of these things, maybe he did give Ty a choice and he said no. Well, Raven and Crow and Summer decided to.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Maybe that's a fair point. Maybe.
Well, does anyone have any questions? Unless there's anything else you want to wrap up, because we're almost at the 2-hour mark now.
Yeah,
so
I am tired. That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this episode was awesome. But I just want to get to the next one just to.
Yes. So, I'll say my predictions for next episode because I haven't seen the preview. So what I'm thinking, I did see something on Twitter this morning. I didn't read it. It just popped up in my notifications.
I think Rooster Teeth just sent out a GIF that was like a little second of like that.
Yes. So I saw a thing that just said something about Salem. I didn't read it all, but it had a picture of Salem's face. Yeah. Of GIF of Salem. So I'm I thought we were going to get a bit of current time Salem in the episode 3, but we just didn't have the time for it. So we're going to get that in chapter 4. I hope you will see the scene with Tyrion and Emerald, and that we saw in the trailer. Hope we'll get to find out what the villains are up to after the fall of Haven. What they're planning. Hazel maybe going after Team RWBY if that was him who met with Miss Malachite. Maybe we'll see Cinder again as well. But I'm thinking it's all going to be mainly villain focused with maybe a little bit of Team RWBY coming to grips with what they saw with Jim. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Yeah, I think we'll get like a little, like a very short scene of RWBY, like again we saw in the trailer of them in the snow.
Yeah.
With Mirror on the Black. I think we'll get that, and that'll be like a few.
I'd say it'll be that, and them talking a little bit about what they saw, and
but I don't think they're going to go into too much detail.
I don't think it'll go too much into it.
In it, and then you'll get a lot of. I think we'll get at least you'll get a lot of the villain stuff. Yeah. Maybe Adam again.
Maybe Adam. We haven't seen.
We eventually, I certainly have to get Ty and Raven at some point.
Yeah, are people been saying that? I don't know. I think that might come in a little bit later, but that was sort of the...
Yeah.
We don't always see the teasers at the end of the volumes in the series. I know we didn't see the little teaser of Crow jumping off to follow Team RWBY at Volume 3, but then we knew he did follow them, so...
Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying that we'll see that scene again. I'm just saying that we'll see Raven with Ty. We'll like see at some point in the volume. You know, like we saw... Yeah, like we saw Cinder at the end of Volume 1. We saw her in Volume 2. You know, we saw
that's true.
Adam at the end of Volume 2. No, we saw Raven and Cinder. That was retconned. Yeah, but
yeah, I don't know. We might. I think at the moment it's we're probably not going to get it in this chapter. It might be a little bit later on. I hope we get like a Stark flashback or something, and it'll tie into that.
We got enough of a flashback. And honestly,
we got a century's worth of flashback.
We got our flashback for this volume. Save the Stark summer stuff. We can tackle that next volume. we got Oz flashback this volume. That's enough, I think.
Yeah.
Like Volume 3, we got villain backstory. Volume 4, we got Ren back. We got Juniper backstory. Volume 5, I don't think we got any backstory in Volume 5. I don't think.
No, we did no, because we got the character shorts and they were all sort of like flashbacks. So I think that's why we didn't have a flashback in Volume 5.
That's true. And then we got this one. Speaking of which, I hope RWBY didn't use all their resources for this fucking episode.
I don't think so.
Like they did in episode 2 of last season.
Yeah, I don't
Spread
think
your
so.
resources, guys.
They've got a big team working on it, and they've been working on this from as soon as after Volume 5 finished. So,
and I will say something about the RWBY Rewind that I wanted to mention before. Yeah. I like that, Eddie Ramirez, who is a guy who works for Rooster Teeth, obviously, and he's got his hand in everything animation-wise. Kind of like Gray, kind of like Miles. He has his hand in everything. And his role, which I love that they've kind of announced that this is a thing they have, is that he is the lore keeper of RWBY. Okay. So it's his job to rewatch the episodes, rewatch everything, get told by Miles and Kerry all the lore, and then make sure that when Miles and Kerry are writing new episodes, that it makes sense to stuff that they've done in the past. And I'm like, that is awesome. I'm glad they've announced that that's a thing. Yeah. And they also mentioned the RWBY Bible, which they've mentioned before for Genlock. Yes. Now, obviously, what they mean by that is basically a book or a piece of paper that has literally every single damn detail, the lore, how everything works, like basically just a guidebook for a show. Yeah. And Gray mentioned, the first thing he mentioned was that he has a massive one for Genlock. That is every detail, stories, everything all written out before he even gave them to the Rooster Teeth to say, here's a show. Yeah, yeah. And they've mentioned before they didn't have that for RWBY, I don't think. Yeah. But it's cool they now have one now, seemingly. Yes. Yeah. And it's Eddie's job to be like, hey, that doesn't make sense of this, we have to change that. Like, that's something, like, I'm glad they have that. I'm glad they've announced that that's a thing. So I'm like,
I would love that job.
Because Eddie works on the Camp now, he works on Nomads, he's kind of like he's a writer for those two shows. Yeah. So he's kind of like, his job to kind of manage everything and kind of make sure everything makes sense. Cool. So I'm like, that's awesome. I'm really glad that that's the thing they have. Because that's always the thing, like, you know, the last thing you want is like something that doesn't make sense, or inconsistencies, et cetera, et cetera. So that's awesome. I'm tired of lost my voice. I'm done. Does anyone have any questions for us before we wrap up? But I'm definitely looking forward to... Oh, that's tonight. The episode comes out tonight. Yes! Whoop, whoop, whoop. Like 3 o'clock in the morning. So... At least there's no... And the reactions. Reactions, yes, absolutely. Tonight as well. So that'll be... So if you're watching this on YouTube, of course, make sure you check out all the reaction videos and all the other videos that will be coming out now that the episode is out for the public. And yeah, make sure you check all of that out. Dawn's fan art as well. I just posted a piece on my Twitter and DeviantArt just as this stream went live. Oh, did you? I didn't. Of course, I didn't see that. Please go and check that out. That'd be very much appreciated. I'm going to go find it now because I want to see it. Wasn't a particularly good one. I don't think it's particularly good. Oh, that's the Weiss with the scarf one? Yeah. Do you like the hair or the eyes? Yeah. The face and turn out. But that was also the biggest poll result I've ever gotten. I got 37 votes on that. Like, jeez, my polls never got that much response before. That's good. Do you think the God of Light place is in the Haven Vault? I don't think so, but I think the Haven Vault was very heavily inspired by the God of Light. Sure. I think it's somewhere that exists in the world, like on the just out there in the world. Oh, there it is. Oh, no, I like that. I think that looks good. Yeah. I'm going to retweet that now. Uh-huh. Yeah. I see how many tweets I have. I've got a lot of notifications. I have 13 interactions. Jesus. Okay. At least it did something while I was streaming.
Yeah.
At least I had it on mute. Had it on mute this time, so it didn't go off during the stream.
Yeah, I don't believe it was the God of Light place, but I did it like with the tree and the golden leaves and everything. It definitely did sort of like it definitely looked like it was inspired by the God of Light. I think knowledge and creation are going to be both inspired by the God of Light shrine, and the other two perhaps maybe by the God of Darkness.
Choice and destruction being by the God of Darkness. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Night Augur says, by the way, the God's art you did was amazing, and it was. I'm going to be retweeting that once the episode's out for the public. But yes, I loved it. It was really good. With and without the background, I think they look good. The background did sell it.
It was a very simple piece to do. Because I wanted to do something good because I didn't draw for Monday. Like I said, I grabbed Ozma from the trailer. I didn't actually draw it on the Sunday, which is normally what the Monday upload is always normally is.
Yes.
Drawn on the Sunday.
It still worked because it was part of the episode. So.
It did. Like I was grateful that I had that because of the extra life. I didn't really have the energy to draw, so I'm glad that I did manage to actually.
It worked.
That was just a good coincidence that I had that to do.
Yes.
But I drew. But I drew Neptune, but didn't have time to upload it. I've drawn Loomis Malachite, but didn't have a time slot to upload it. So that's why I had the poll today, because I need to upload something today, but I don't have anything for episode 3. So let's draw something from those ones. And the Gods was a good piece. As soon as I saw that, I really wanted to do that.
I thought that was really cool.
There was another digital piece I have done for episode 3.
Yeah, right.
But I have no idea when that's going to get posted, because I only post digitals on Thursdays.
Yeah.
And I'll have something from episode 4 for next Thursday. So it's one of those things that I have drawings from the Adam character short that I still haven't uploaded yet.
Oh, hey, Beck. You just finished, have you? Yeah, we're still going. We're wrapping up, though. We're about to finish up.
I actually have the longest drawing I have in my stash right now that I haven't uploaded was a drawing I did back for Supernova.
Oh, really?
I still haven't posted yet. They just never had a slot in the upload.
Aww. Oh, you finished an hour ago. Oh, okay, fair enough, Sis.
Yeah, I don't think they would have streamed for 4 hours. Like, come on.
No, they streamed for 3.
True, but still.
Well, at least I think they did.
I'm still just so tired.
Does anyone have any other questions before we wrap up? Because we're tired, and I need to go. I'm going to a craft market with my friends, so
I need to go pick up Pokemon. Let's go Pikachu, and then go to work.
Yeah. Chris has got the game. Chris is playing it at the moment. Well, he was when I was.
I'm annoyed. I was so excited to get the controller.
Yeah.
The controller, at least for YM, costs more than the game to buy.
Does it? Oh, I don't know, because I pre-ordered it, so I can't.
It is $70 to buy the controller and $60 to buy the game.
Can't you buy them together though?
For like $130, you can buy them together.
Oh, okay.
Which is still the same price.
Yeah, I couldn't remember because I pre-ordered it, and then Chris
so
picked it up for me.
I'm mad because I want to buy the controller, but I'm not paying $70 for Mew.
The cool thing with the Pokeball, like, you don't need it to play the game, but
no, you don't.
Yeah,
you don't.
It's cool because it's just
it has cool integration of Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Although now that they've given the adventure sync, it doesn't really make a difference because you can play Pokemon Go now without even having your phone on, so it doesn't really matter. Because you can just sync it up to like a walking app, and then it just does the equivalent.
Yeah.
So now the Pokewatch and now the Pokeball kind of don't make as much sense with the adventure sync, so I don't know. It's all weird.
Anyway, that's Pokemon.
I love you all, but I'm done.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Of course, thank you everyone on YouTube who has watched to the end. We need to praise the Great One and Weisfu.
Yeah. There.
Whoop, whoop. And we're going to see you all next week when we'll be discussing Chapter 4. Stop the stand.
The stand's broken anyway, it doesn't matter.
Weisfu and Pocket Neo. Yay!
Yeah. There's something in my...
Great One.
What's that? What's that in my camera? What's something...
Oh, the black square. Yeah, it's from Skype.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's that? Didn't notice that. Yeah. Anyway.
Like, if I hover over, I think Skype, it's... I don't know. I think it's meant to be, like, for my camera or something, but...
Oh, well.
Yeah. Yes, and we'll see you. Careful, you don't poke your eye out with that. We'll see you all next week for Chapter 4. So, see you all then. Thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.